No, we like to got blew away last night though. We had a tornado just barely missed us.
I saw that on
I saw
that on radar. I saw that was close to you. Man.
Yeah. And for a while, it looked like Billy when it was coming up. That they it had the track area. Man, I lived right on the edge of that track area, and it was running right up that edge. And we had some serious winds, but I don't think we got any tornadoes in this general area.
It just came out of nowhere. I mean, from dead calm to freaking 60, 70 mile an hour winds. You know, so we knew it. I could physically see it was close. Okay.
That's how it works, man. Unstable air. You can feel it.
Get under the
What do you guys do? Do y'all do basements? Do y'all have basements? What do you do when tornadoes get there?
Get under the lid. Get under
the lid. Most interior room in my house with no windows. That's all I got.
Put your head between your legs and kiss things goodbye, huh?
Billy and I go to the bayou. Go down.
If you don't hear it or don't see it, it didn't happen. Is that how it works?
Just hang on.
Yeah. Where I live is outside of New Orleans, and the street in front of my house is 11 feet above sea level. A mile away is 4 feet below sea level. And you don't see it. I don't know if you can feel it, but it's just we still flood because the pinheads that run the pumping systems don't know it's raining on us, and they got to turn the pump on to get it across the railroad track down the road. So I mean, I don't even fight them. I used to belong to that commission and realized it's City Hall. What are you going to do? Okay, I've been watching the Facebook this week.
Oh no, you're freezing up, Eddie.
Yep, he's froze.
Yeah, he's froze up.
Looks like a screenshot.
The Sultan of Skew.
Yeah.
I thought that was Cade.
SOS. That's a new meaning. It's a new meaning.
Isn't that the Sultan of Swing?
Yeah, right. Sultan of Swell.
Dane, you look a little cold there, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Are you down in Tucson? Or you up north somewhere?
No, I'm up in Kentucky.
Oh, okay.
Come on. It's cold as hell.
You look like you're shopped.
Yeah, it's definitely not my shop. Yeah.
Like you're outside too.
Yeah. Well, smoking.
Ah.
Hence the jacket. At least I brought my jacket with me. I did have a proper cold weather jacket, so never get the opportunity to wear it down in Tucson.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you want to hear the story on my truck? You know, which was the whole purpose of flying up here, right? You know, because it was fixed and it runs like a top. So I get in it Saturday, go down, pick it up Saturday morning. I get in it and I swear, and it's a 5.9 Cummins, diesel. So it starts up and it's running. It sounds like it's missing on half the cylinders. And then it comes back to running like how it should in about 20 seconds, which is great. So I kill the ignition, fire it back up again, and it's still doing the same thing. So when I do the ignition key hack to be able to populate any error codes that it may have, and lo and behold, check engine error code pops up in the odometer reading. And then so next thing you know, I'm like, oh, okay, let me check for that idiot light. And there it is, right where it's supposed to be at, top left-hand corner of above the RPM gauge. And so now I'm steaming. So go back inside. What the hell's going on? You guys need to run the scanner on here and find out what the hell's wrong. You know, it's supposed to be, you know, in tip-top shape, and here it is. It's not. You know, it's worse than, you know, aside from it not wanting to start up. You know, when I left it, you know, now it sounds like crap. So lo and behold, Monday rolls around. Service manager is back in. He's been out with COVID. He gets in there. He starts looking at it, and somehow or another, the mechanic that was working on it, who no longer works there anymore, he quit, and I could see why. He failed to put on 2 snap rings on 2 of the injectors that were replaced.
Oh,
So hence the rough running and it missing on a couple cylinders. So he gets it put back together, but in putting the valve covers back on, he scratches the gasket, and so now it's you know, losing prime again and blowing diesel fuel over the engine. So that was Monday afternoon. So it took them until this afternoon to get the damn gasket in.
Jeez.
And so supposedly runs like a top again, you know, so I'll find out tomorrow morning when I go down.
wow.
And when are you heading back home?
Well, initially I was planning on heading out on Friday, but I don't know now.
Yeah.
I might
Oh my goodness.
stay a few days longer. I mean,
No,
it hasn't
so is
impacted
the,
anything I was aiming to do, but at the same
is
time,
the,
I'd
uh,
like to.
company, is
I'd
the
like-
company going to pay for that airline ticket that, you know, for you coming up? They paying any of your travel expenses or anything?
Oh, hell no.
That's pretty sorry.
Yeah, I know, right? But what can you do, you know? Kind of
Yeah.
at the whim of those bastards when they got your vehicle. So, you know, the thing of it is, you know, when I get it home, I'm still going to have to take it. I'm still going to have to take it to my mechanic because I've got, you know, my confidence level is at 0 on it, everything being done right to begin with.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Wow.
Fingers crossed, you know.
Did Eddie make it back in?
I didn't see him come back in.
Not yet.
Dave, I have to ask,
Can't talk to you.
why is your truck in Kentucky?
Well, my wife is up here taking care of her dementia grandmother.
Oh, okay. No, don't say anymore. I got it all.
Yeah, she's been up here since April. So that's why I've been a road runner going back and forth.
Hey, Brenda, I'm back. I was
There he
looking
is.
through the list. Yeah, I had T-Mobile, wonderful place.
Nah, you had to go make a deposit.
Yeah. Is Billy Bird in the house yet?
No.
Okay. Boy, I tell you, Billy got busy within, well, the day after the meeting last week. Billy had already created that. Oh, there's a term for that, Chuck, that they
The
came up
off-center
with.
jig.
Off-center
indexing.
Yeah, off-center indexing jig. And I mean, that thing got a ton of hits on the internet. And
Sure
Billy was
did.
kind enough to refer him back to where it's at on our website and where the program's at. I got a text today from a guy that said he saw one of my notes to Billy, and I'd said, Billy, if I make one, that piece that goes in that turns, I don't know how it index or whatever, I would turn that out of corian because the double stick tape would stick better to it, but then it'd be easier to index because you could chuck that up and put it in your lathe and take your move your indexing wheel and score it on the indexing wheel. So you have a continuous line to index to. And it would be, if you want to go 30 degrees, you can, you know which one it is. And then there was some other comments about how to hold it, make it more detailed to fit your chuck, et cetera, et cetera. So what Jim Duxbury showed us last week is taking off like a shot. And I'm so happy about that. That's what we're supposed to do. And that's so great. And I see the swap shop is out there. The swap shop is on our website if you want to. And I don't know what Dave's calling it. I
Barter
have a problem with
I
that.
think I'm just calling it.
Barter page.
Yeah.
And it's
Barter
set up.
page.
It works great, Dave. Everything that I was having issues with, it's all good now. And
Great.
great job, buddy. Great job on setting that up so quickly.
I've
I
got
used
a
to-
question about it.
Sure.
Dave, is it supposed to work on mobile devices as well?
I'm not
On
sure.
all-
I didn't check it on mobile, but I believe it is.
It's
Yeah,
working it's working on Android.
Okay, it's not working on my iPhone.
Okay, what's it doing?
It would not give me the image that I was supposed to repeat in the
He
box.
will now because I fixed that about an hour and a half ago because
Okay,
Dave
okay.
mentioned it.
I don't know how you do it, man.
That stuff's so great
Just
to me.
having fun.
The
No,
master
I do.
webmaster.
I know, Jim.
Let's not talk
Like
about
the
giving a raise. That's not good. All right.
I say we double.
Doug, I just checked it and I can get it on my iPhone.
Okay, I checked early this afternoon and I could not. And so I'll do it again after a while.
Yeah,
Very
this
good.
is what I came up with. I don't know if it light
Can't-
up right.
Can't
Yeah.
quite see it.
No.
Can't see the
But
bright light.
and it's reversing itself both ways. So I don't turn my phone on anymore unless I'm separated from my wife. And she's teaching dancing school tonight. So I have to have this on in case we need to communicate. But part of my therapy is no cell phone. And it's working. I mean, I'm
So, hey,
crazy as a
there's-
loon, but not as crazy.
Hey, guys, with the barter board, there's like a login and a password. Did I miss that?
Yeah, you
I
got to
messed that
register.
You have to log into the password.
You have to register.
Okay, all right,
Exactly.
cool.
Who's doing the demo tonight?
Me.
We
Look
got,
out, look out, look out. You're in trouble. You should have
got-
asked that.
Oop.
We have Mr. Duxbury
You're kidding.
putting on something that's going
Wow.
to be fabulous.
Thank you. Thank you, bud.
We'll see.
Now, next week,
I'm impressed already.
whatever Jim does this week,
Hmm.
Brenda's gonna up it one notch for next week. Because Brenda's got
Oh.
Wi-Fi in her shop and she's
Yep.
waiting to do demos.
Brenda now has Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
So Brenda's going to be doing one of them ice cream paddles. We'll start off
That's so
slow.
cool.
Oh.
We'll ease her into it.
All right.
Oh.
We don't ease anybody
Oh.
into anything.
We'll talk, Brenda. We got
Okay.
time.
Okay.
I'm booking for March, so
Oh, well,
Yeah.
I may be out of the
Try-
country in March. It's my birthday. I'm gonna be 60 in March, and I'm making sure there ain't no birthday parties.
there you go.
So,
What'd you do, Brenda? Spill the beans? You got Wi-Fi now?
yep. That was thanks to Scott. I spent hours on the phone with Scott in the last couple.
Awesome.
I've upgraded my Wi-Fi, changed my cell phone plan, and I'm working on jigs, the bandsaw jigs.
All right.
Yep.
Good for you, girl.
Yeah.
Glutton
It's
for
nice.
punishment, aren't you?
Huh?
You're a glutton for punishment, aren't you?
Well, Scott's made it all easy.
Yeah. I'm glad he was able to help you out.
Yeah. I was working on my jig earlier out in the garage. I was going to get on the meeting in the garage, but it showed me that the meeting hadn't started yet. I thought I was having trouble with my iPad, so I didn't use the computer. So I'm inside again.
Hey, Dane, what are you doing out in the cold?
Freezing. I'm having my smoke. I'll be going in here in a minute.
Are you at home?
No, I'm up in Kentucky visiting my wife.
Oh, okay.
That's why he's drinking the Bud Light to stay warm.
Yep. Yep. I found that beer has nothing to do with being cold or hot. So
I'm going to make a comment about the barter board, just in case nobody noticed it. There's actually two areas there. One's called the barter board, and also down below it, I've got a thing about suggestions. And I don't know if it makes any sense or not, but I thought we might put a category in there and see if anybody wants to write in, I need to know how to do such and such. And if people are checking it, they might give an answer to your question. That may or may not go over. We'll see if anybody wants to glance at it and give sage wisdom to those people with the questions, or if anybody wants to even leave questions. If they don't, I'll get rid of that area. But if it works, good. And if anybody has any other suggestions about what we might put up there as some other category of things.
Hey, Dave. Hey, Dave.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, if there's a question out there, every wood turner will go and try to answer it.
That's under the assumption everybody looks at the website.
I bet that would work really good.
But wait a minute, they're all experts. Yeah, don't knock that. They're all experts.
Hey, Dave.
Every answer will be different.
Opinions are like elbows. There's no two alike. But we're going to monitor that, because if that would not be a good thing for our club to do, is if we have a surge of poor information going back, I think we're going to decide to kill it. Because the worst thing we can do is give bad information to people. The worst thing we can do is have a pinhead, whatever, step up and think, I know everything about everything, and I'm going to correct who is correcting the corrected one. So, and that's why I hate the forums on some, I hate the forums on some of those places, because they can be devastating. They
sure can.
Yeah, I'd rather discuss it online here.
And like if you want to take it off, I will, but if you want to leave it for a while and see if we get any good stuff, that's good too. Whatever.
Yeah, let's monitor it. I'm never against something. I'm not going to dig the trap I'm going to fall in. Right. That's just it.
Hey,
another
if I might,
you might leave it to where you can ask the question, but then not reply with answers. Do the answer in the next club meeting.
Yes, I like that.
Do that. That's a good idea.
Yeah, I like that idea too.
That could be good.
Suggestions for topics to talk about. Yeah.
Perfect.
Another suggestion is to write up some basic rules, like, keep it clean and pleasant. Be nice.
But nobody follows them.
Well, now a number of you folks are members of a wood turning group on Facebook called Woodturning for Beginners. Dane, I've seen you there. Brenda.
You had to mention that, didn't you?
I did. Well, I mentioned it because I've been an admin on that board for 3 years, and it's a routine job to go up there. I mean, I got to deal with cleaning things up every day. Yeah. So in general, it's pretty benign, and they've got some good rules there. I like the rules. I'm probably a little more coarse than the rules would allow, so I try to be on my best behavior there myself. But it's in general, it's a really good group, because there's a lot of good suggestions, and in general, people are very good with the answers too. So I'd hate to ruin it for because one or two people are being whatever, being inappropriate. So yeah, being asses. So yeah. Yeah.
But I think it will work. I think it could work. Proper monitoring. We will control who goes into it, because you got to register. And there may be some other safeguards we can put on if there's a problem. But all in all, we're here to share information. If that's another way we can share information, that's on the table. I mean, we're doing things now that other clubs have never ventured into doing. I mean, we have what, 71 folks joining us this evening. In a little while, Jim Duxbury is going to give us a demonstration. We have show and tell this evening. We have so much. And I saw a thing Dane put on Facebook today about it. He's amazed about how many people put things on our Facebook page and contribute, but don't attend the meetings.
Yeah.
Here's the deal. We don't know who attends the meetings because the meetings are online and free forever. So, one of my friends down the street, he stopped in the other day and he says, I saw you on TV the other night. You know, I said, wait, you know, I thought we kept that under the table and nobody could, you know.
But, Dancing with the Stars, right?
On the swing there.
How was that?
We could definitely have more people attending the meetings.
Yes, we can. And look, if they can't make the meeting, I'm fine with it. If they can give us input some other way, I'm fine with it.
I'm fine with it too. I just like to have more people here. That's all.
I would too. In fact, that's why we keep telling folks,
because there's
invite
a lot
a friend.
of them that could become better turners if they did come to the meetings.
That's why this guy stopped. He's got a knockoff of a mini, a 1014 jet, which is the old fashioned mini. And he's got one of those cast downs from that. And he was asking about a chuck. After he saw the meeting, he came down, he brought me the chuck he had. Somebody talked him into one of those 4-jaw things he used in the machine shop. And he didn't know what he was going looking for. Now, they have a purpose in life, those chucks. I mean, they'll hold the duck down in water and things like that. But it's way hard to get those working out to a true center. It can be done. It's just way hard to get it to work. But when he came down, I said, why don't you make it a weekly join? Just join us. I don't know if I can afford that. They're missing it. It's free, you know, and we don't have any money problems because we don't have any money.
Right.
Jack Benny said the best, you know, it's your money or your life. And he said, oh, let me decide. But that's what we're pushing for, more participation from member to member, club to club to club, group to group to group. And we've got, tuned in each week, we have 5 or 6 guys that, I don't like to use the term professional. We have 5 or 6 people that are upper level seasoned turners. And they are normally doing demonstrations for us. But that demonstration thing's open to all levels. And I don't believe in rookies or beginners. You've got new turners and you have seasoned turners. And if you start putting categories on people, you'll insult them. I won a turning competition one time where the guy said, put it on the table. You want to give me an excerpt table, this table or that table? I put mine on the rookie table. I got the ribbon for it. And it's still tied to the piece up there on the shelf. It wasn't an award winner, but I guess whoever was judging it said, oh, look, this is nice. But we won't put labels. That's good. I like that. I like that barter thing. That may work out for us. Really can.
Well, hey, Eddie, with me making that post, it did garner one new person coming in tonight.
Who is it?
I don't think he showed up yet.
All right.
Let me look, and then I'll call him out.
Yeah, because we can call them out. You know, this is, you know, there are no secrets here. You know, it's you're on.
No, he hasn't came on yet, but he told me he was going to come. So we'll see.
So we're listing him as a probable, Dane?
Yeah, we're going to do a probable now. You know, so my thunder just got stolen.
Looks like Randy Smith has a question.
Hey, Randy.
Ask away, Randy.
Yes. The question is, our wood turning club has a Ricon model 7220 VSR. and it's our club lathe, and the tailstock has a problem with the ram. It tends to jam. Now I've tried to clean it out. I took it apart, pulled the ram out, and pulled the threads out, and tried to clean it out a little bit. But I found a YouTube video from several years ago that said that some of their lathes had a problem where the tailstock was not bored out enough, and that it has that problem. And I want to know if anybody else has that lathe and either had that problem or had it fixed.
I worked on one for somebody, and the setting pin or setting screw that keeps it from twisting, the quill from twisting, it was not of the quality of steel that it should have been, and it had worn the quill and it wore the stock, and at a certain point it wouldn't move. You had to hit it with a hammer, it like froze up. And it was, when I got a hold of it, I got all the thread part out. I had to get a drift pin to knock the quill out of the piece, because I couldn't get the bolt out. I couldn't get the quill out. And it looks like it was replaced with something not of the quality. That's a hardened steel piece. And anything less, the harmonics are going to eat it up, just eat it away. So look at that when you get into it.
Well, I took it apart already and was looking at it. Yeah, you're right. The ram is hardened steel. And so I saw this video, and it said that they're aware of it. And I was going to contact them with the serial number, et cetera, and see what they recommend. Evidently, from what the video said, they would send you a new ram and the threaded piece that actually has coarser threads on it, and the hardened piece is a bit smaller. So I'm just wondering if anybody else has the lathe and might have shared that problem.
I've heard their customer service isn't the most fantastic. Be warned.
No companies is anymore, unfortunately.
I know. I met Kevin Bedgood last summer. Kevin Bedgood, do you know who he is?
Yeah, he works at the local woodcraft store here in Harrisburg.
Call him, because he's a direct representative of Ricon, and he's got connections that the general public doesn't have. And he might be able to help you with that.
Yeah, I knew Kevin. I'll shoot him an email, see what he said.
I have a Powermatic, so all my answers will be general on this, but I had some problems with my quill also, and the tolerances were really fine. So my grub screw, my key went missing in the keyway, and my grub screw kind of cut a little bit of a burr, and it wasn't much, and I didn't really know it was there until I was running my finger down it and sliced myself up. But check the tolerances are close enough that if you get some kind of burr on the keyway or on the quill, it might impede operation enough. So check that too.
I did actually do that when I pulled the quill out.
Okay.
I found there were a couple of places where it would look like it would have twisted and gotten that. I took a file and a hone to it. I just kind of tried to do that on the inside.
That's what I did, and that eventually solved my problem. But like I say, the tolerances were pretty thin, so even a little bit of raised metal in there was causing a problem for me. Now again, like I say, I don't know if that'll help you or not, but you might check it.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
We're here for to share information. That's what we do best. All righty, bounce out of there. We can do gallery, folks. We've got a little while before we do the Jim Duxbury demonstration for this evening. And I see Doug Rose out causing trouble already. Yeah.
Yeah, he sure is.
Hey,
if he's
Eddie.
wearing a bikini, we ain't going to him. Hey.
Hey, Eddie. This is Scott. I just put in the chat a place to go check out how to spout your own wood. It's a nice article.
No, nice.
Good. I used to be able to bury it in my rose garden. The combination
Scott.
of leaves and the food and everything else really worked.
Scott, I don't see that link in chat. Did it go to somebody specific?
Oh, it should have went to everyone.
Suncatcherstudio.com.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's there. It's in the chat.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, well, hey, let's start, let's kick off gallery here with Mr. Kenny. Hey, Tom.
Howdy. I was online and found a, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we got you.
Your message saying I was unmuted. Online, I was kind of intrigued by something I saw that Nick Agar done. It was a texturing using one of these Mampa tools, and I couldn't find too much about it, so I just took a piece of wood and tried it, and I was kind of pleased with the way it came out. I started with a piece of maple, and there's the bottom and the OG.
Great shape.
And
Oh
there's
my.
the texture.
Oh, that's nice.
And I'm sorry, the camera's really not doing it justice. This thing really pops. It was a metal shift, or metallic shift paint, acrylic paint, and was really pleased with the way it came out. And I've got some pictures that I think I'll send to the website that do it better justice than what's showing up on the screen.
How did you get the texture, Tom?
Yeah.
It's a Mampa cutter. It's a 3 carbide tips, triangular shape.
Gotcha.
And you just do circles.
Which was it the round, the circular one, or which cutter was it?
The one with the triangular tips.
Okay.
And if you go to Nick Agar's site, he's got several examples of it done, but the clips are like 10 seconds long and really don't give you an in-depth study on how to do it. So I just started experimenting and really liked it. So I'm going to try it some more. That's all we got for tonight.
Cool.
Very nice.
That
Tom.
is cool. Very nice.
Thank you.
Very
Thanks,
nice.
Tom.
Very nice.
Looks great.
All right, let's go to let's go up to Prescott.
Oh, way.
Why?
And of course, I just put a mouthful of food in there. Hold on. Nom.
Well, it didn't matter, now did it?
Oh, there we go. All right. So what do I got? I did another one of these again. Whoops, almost dropped the phone.
Steady.
You've
I love
all
them things.
Hey, you made them out of colored pencils.
I sure did.
Doug Sametti.
He's the colored pencil. Oh, nice.
That's pretty.
Got a little
That is nice.
You made that out of mesquite.
Well, it's a different type of mesquite. This one is bird mesquite. It took flight. It flew. It's bird mesquite.
Bird mesquite. Yeah. Okay.
Notice the mortise.
Yeah. Notice no
It wasn't
get
supposed
laid.
to be a mortise. It had a really tight tenon. I was so proud of how tight my jaws fit around it. It was perfect. Only too small, couldn't handle the, and the tenon snapped off. Oops. So then we fixed it with a mortise. But yeah, it turned out pretty good.
That's
nice
cool.
recovery.
Yeah.
Nice job.
Then my fun one.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Ricon.
My termite bowl.
That is cool.
Real cool.
So those of you that got to see it on TikTok or Facebook, it all the little blue spots, those are termite holes. And then I filled it all in with resin. I wanted to go thinner. It's actually still pretty thick, but I was starting to lose resin out of the termite holes. So I just said, heck with it. I'd rather keep the resin and leave it a little thicker than have to go back and keep fixing them. So that's what I got for tonight.
That's pretty cool.
Real quick, so Dane hit me up on being the demoer for next week. So I was thinking, if you guys are interested, my hollow roller system, I could do a demo on that. And
Yes,
show you
please.
guys how I can get really deep into a vessel. Is that
Yes,
something you guys would
please.
see?
Sounds good. Everybody's interested in hollowing systems, so that would fit the program excellently.
Okay, the way my system is set up, I can't do closed hollowing right now. I can only do open hollowing. So basically, we'll just make a really deep open vessel Wednesday night.
Okay.
And I think what I'll do is
same
I'll prep
concept.
it. I'll have the piece already turned around in whatever shape we're going to use. And then we'll just focus the demo on, you know, hitting it with the Forstner bit, getting in there and then opening it up and going.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
You need a Forstner bit? What, boy, you're pansy.
Yeah, we're gonna use a really cool attachment for a Forstner bit, so it'll be pretty fun.
Sounds good, Doug. Thank you.
All
I
righty.
appreciate that.
Okay.
All right, let's go to Mr. Kingsley. Dave. talk
Here
to
I
us.
am. I'm here.
And of course you
I'm
would bounce
chatting away.
around.
Yeah, I moved.
I got you.
I'm here.
We see you.
I mentioned last week that I was, and I find them very tedious, but I managed to discipline myself to get in and get some done.
Don't drop them.
This one is next three are cherry and the next three are oak. And I got a nasty surprise because somebody had given me some beautiful looking walnut. Add them into blanks, and I found out that it wasn't real, that it's somebody painted or stained. And so I've got a mess of blanks that I just toss out because I had plenty of oak. I don't have a whole lot of walnut. But that's all I've managed to do this week. I'm
look nice.
Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you. All right, let's go to Mr. Miller.
Here I am.
There he is.
I hope everybody's doing well. A couple of you have asked me on Facebook and other places how I'm doing. I'm doing pretty well. Just some lingering effects of COVID. Still got this crazy cough that comes up from time to time and can't go for very long. But my wife says I'm getting old, but that's all right. Did manage last week, the very end of the week, I got out in the shop, and some of you saw this on, get it where you can see it. There you go.
Oh yeah.
Some of you saw it on Facebook or Instagram. It's just regular black walnut, but it does have the two sides, some great chatoyance there. And that's inside as well.
Very nice.
There we go. But anyway, nothing real special, just done for a hashtag week. And the whole idea was to get out and just turn a basic bowl. So there it is.
Yeah, it looks good, Doug.
4 1/4 by 2, I think it is.
Jeez.
Good job, Doug.
Looks great.
It's a beauty.
Thanks, guys.
Oh yeah.
Nice job.
Very nice.
All right, let's go to, let's do Joaquin. Hey, Joaquin.
Hey, so I've been doing these boxes for a couple months, and Cindy Droves did a demo of them. So these are little mushroom shaped boxes
with a pop.
And actually, this is my most recent design update. And you can see I got good grain match. But I was thinking about it, and I thought, well, wait a minute. When you look at an actual mushroom, the stem goes up into the crown, so it's very similar to a acorn box. Acorn box, yeah. So my prior design, also still a good design, but I was putting a rim inside there. And like I said, I just started thinking about it and thought, why not do it exactly like a real mushroom would be? So you still get a good vacuum fit. And
perfect wood for that too.
You get better. I don't know if you can tell. I've got decent grain match here. It's not terrible, but because I've got that much space and then whatever, I can't remember which parting tool I used. The grain match is nowhere near as close as just coming up under like that and doing it like an acorn box. So that's the way I'm going to do it from now on.
Yep.
That is gorgeous.
And then,
oh my God.
I've got a show Saturday, so I'm inventory. But these are my dice boxes. They're just, these are all either red, white, or black oak, mostly red and black oak. I think there's one white oak.
Goodness.
And a tiger wood lid. So I've been cranking these out. They're fun. They require that you pay attention to tolerances. They all have a very light friction fit. And what else? Oh, I got a couple. Oh,
the finial again. I don't care if we've seen it already. I want to see it again.
Oh, this one?
Yeah.
Isn't that gorgeous?
Awesome.
That's pretty.
I love watching you make that one.
Yeah, that was fun. That was fun. So I had the problem. I showed you guys the lighters I don't recommend, the keychain lighters. This is Wood River's what a classic lighter. It's like a trench lighter style. This is a fabulous kit. I love this kit. This is absolutely a fantastic kit. I've got a couple, I guess you could pocket or purse lighters, and then this one was fun. That's 4-axis desk lighter.
Ooh. Where'd you say you got them?
Wood River.
Wood River.
Wood River.
Woodcraft.
Woodcraft. Yeah, Woodcraft. Oh, and I got some Niles extra large whiskey stoppers. This is white oak that I took the torch to.
Oh,
that was fun. That was fun. That's about, I don't know. I've been cranking out just little stuff. Oh, and did I show you guys the poison apple?
Got him doing one, Matt.
Yes, I remember the poison apple.
Yeah, with the worm. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Because I asked you guys what the species was. That's right.
Gorgeous.
And I think we decided it was Goncalo albus. So yeah, that's about all I got going on right now.
Yeah, nice job.
Really
Eric.
nice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Really nice.
All right. Well, this guy came on early tonight. He must have a lot to show. Hey, Terry. You're muted.
No, I didn't come on early because I got a lot to show. I just didn't want to follow Jim.
Nobody wants to
I
follow
thought I
him.
better get on early.
Definitely.
Well, last couple weeks ago, we had our club meeting, and I got a piece of black cherry bowl blank out of the raffle. And the guy that donated, I said something when I picked it up. I said, maybe I can make a natural edge bowl out of it. And the guy that donated it said, don't even try. He says, you can't keep the bark on it. And well, of course, that sounded like a challenge. So this is what I got out of it.
Oh, nice.
It's not too big, but it came out pretty nice. It got a nice grain to it. It's kind of plain and different, but it's about 1/4 of an inch thick. It's like 10 inches across.
Beautiful.
It's only maybe 5 inches deep. But it came out pretty nice, especially considering he didn't have as much glue as I do. This trouble. Then I found one more piece of the hackberry that was pretty good size. And I said, well, that looks like it'll make it a natural edge bowl. Well, it probably would have, but I kind of engaged the tool before I engaged the brain. And I cut up way a part that I needed. The chips were flying so pretty, I just kept cutting them. Whoops. So I looked at it and decided that I'd make a hollow form out of it.
Oh, nice.
It's like
very
4
nice.
inches across,
That is
about 5
pretty.
inches deep. It's a piece of that hackberry. too is it's got a Minwax tongue on it. And it didn't have a lot of texture and character to it, but it has some. It came out pretty good. I had cut some of it away, but I got it all done at this point, and I thought, oh, it's kind of plain. It's a little heavier than I want, but I was doing it with a hand howling tool with no guide, and it's awful hard to measure it. I spent a lot of time with different things trying to measure the thickness, and got to a point where I said, it's better than firewood, and I quit. And then I thought, well, it's kind of plain, so I decided I would make it a beauty ring. And I found a piece of Purple Heart and made a beauty ring for it. I think it kind of gives it a little pop.
Nice.
And make it a little better.
Very
and
nice.
Then I figured, well, if we're going that far, I might as well make it a lid.
You just don't know when to quit.
A little more than a pop.
No. I'm trying to make a lid for the lid, but I kind of give up. One thing I did is I was going to try to make a lid from the finial out of some pieces of the hackberry. Don't try that. Because they say the definition of insanity is to try the same thing over and over and expect different results. I tried that 5 times. The hackberry is just so soft and no grain and no strength to it at all. I even tried soaking it with super glue and everything else, and it just fell apart. So anyway, I went back to my old standby mesquite, which is indestructible. So you can see the more detail to it. It had a lot to it, but most of it turned away. But anyway,
beautiful.
It wound up not in the scrap pile, so I was happy about that. And that's pretty much all I got. I had a busy week and got another busy one coming. I got a friend that's not doing well and in the hospital 50 miles away. So it's been a big week. That's all I got.
Nice job, Terry. Nice job. Let's see. Ray Davis, you out there still?
I'm still here.
There you are.
Yeah.
They got you filed up there.
There
by
we
the
are.
keys.
Yeah, we're there. Well, a couple weeks ago, I showed a soccer ball I was trying to work with and make, and I got some ideas from a couple people on the line there. But I went back to the shop and worked on it a little bit more, and I think I got it pretty much perfected. So I'd like to show it this evening.
Oh
my.
Oh my.
And I got a base for it. And I took it a little bit further.
Wow.
Goodness.
Nice.
They just let me out of the sanitarium yesterday, so.
Wow.
Yeah,
And
you're ready to go back. Crazy. Then I had the base, and it's octagon also.
Wow.
That's a definite wow.
Demonstration.
This is the 4th iteration. It might take a while to do a demonstration.
We'd all be in the asylum. Wow.
There's no time limit. Ray, you can jump in when you're ready. We'll take it.
Yeah.
I think we'll just settle for a photograph or something.
Just make a video and do it in steps.
There you go.
What was fun is getting that lid to fit nicely, but it came out pretty good.
Real good.
Yeah, it sure did.
No, it didn't come out pretty good. It turned out fantastic. Thank you.
Yes.
Fantastic job.
That's all I had to do this week. So something next week, maybe.
Right.
I wouldn't want to follow that tonight either.
No.
I don't recommend trying it.
I was going to say that would follow Jim all right.
Yeah.
That's really neat. And the lid fits in all the positions. That's the hard part. That's really hard.
That is.
That's a great job.
Well,
Trey's the fair-haired child to follow that. He's a good suspect.
One second. Let me, I want to spotlight my phone instead of the, okay. Okay, I changed my spotlight to my phone.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, it's a little box that I just turned.
Used the rose machine.
It's the finial is just a brass finial. Do I have an echo now on my phone? I may have turned the audio
No,
on.
you're fine. You're good.
Very nice.
And the top, top, a little decorative in the inside.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
And playing around with some patterns.
Gee.
I was playing around with some popping motion. I am not sure. Really not sure.
Man.
Poplar, maybe poplar.
No. It's an exotic. It's an oily wood. So no, it's not native. It's an exotic. But I got it in a pile of some other wood. It looked darker than it was. I'm not sure what it is. It's oily. And the other thing I did is I played around with some finials. I did a little small box.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's pretty.
It's a tag nut.
Yeah, I like that too.
And
like 3 separate pieces? I mean, 3.
No, it's 2. And I'm playing around with doing a trifinial in a small size.
Well, that's what I was trying to say. I mean, it was like 3 pieces. I mean, 3.
It's 1 piece.
No, but I meant 3. Is there 2 holes in that thing or 3?
3.
One hole in the top.
No, I meant in that.
In the finial.
And the finial, it's 3 pieces, but it's 1 piece that's cut.
Wow.
And that's the second one. This is the first one. I didn't like the way it fit as well. It just didn't look as good. So I did a second one. So.
Jeez.
And how did you do?
I've never tried one. I've never tried one that small. That's the next question. Next thing is, trying to do one in a tiny size. So.
Really nice.
That's pretty amazing. The hole in the finial.
The what?
The opening in the finial. How did you make that?
It's turned on my rose engine lathe with a three bump rosette.
Man.
Yeah, I have no idea how you did that. So who all votes that's a demo?
Well, I think I already showed it one time doing a bigger one. Showed a bigger one time. This was just I never tried anything this small with it. In fact, I wasn't even sure I could do it. But it seemed to work out pretty good.
Yeah, I think it worked out good.
I'm happy with it.
Heck yeah.
Now it's a piece of African black wood, and this is a tag nut. Can you give me that nut you had over there?
Very nice.
Glad I don't got nothing to show tonight at all.
And here,
man.
And here's what the raw nut looks like.
Oh.
Huh.
A tag nut.
What part do you eat?
You don't.
Oh, okay.
Are those green?
I'm not sure. That one, there's an old one, but it's just a white. It's called, sometimes they call it vegetable ivory and that kind of stuff on it because it's, you get a white, it's white on the inside. I think this nut here is actually brown. It's an older nut. So
it looks like a snake head.
It's a nut seed from one of the tropical trees.
Huh.
And it does have 2 halves to it, which normally has a hole through the middle, a void in the middle, so it's not solid all the way through. But this worked out pretty good because the void was in the middle, and I was able to get it all the way around the outside. So
where do you get the taco nuts?
that one I ordered, I got some from one of the shows in Tucson that were older, and there's a, what's the name? I can't think of the name of the company, but you can look online, and I ordered it online. Some worldwide imports or something like that. Some country that they're, actually, individually selling them. And there's no endangerment or anything like that for them because they're just, they get them off the trees every year. So
Looks like eBay's got a bunch of them.
it probably does.
That gives me an idea for Doug Rowe. Doug, can you do a potato? Turn us a potato.
Yeah, I'm sure he would.
They're not as expensive as eggs, so I'll see if I can have one on Wednesday.
I thought you were gonna say Doug could turn his nuts.
Well, when you turn the potato, make sure you have a bucket and you catch it there in the strings and then fry the strings.
There we go.
Right.
Yeah.
Make some hash browns and lots, whatever.
Curly
fries. Take on hash.
I have to tell you, I did a whole demo on turning that. I turned a potato and apples. I turned radishes, turnip, and carrots, and I turned a chestnut out of carrots. And
oh my goodness!
When I left, it was neat because you could eat the shavings.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You had a salad afterwards.
Oh my God!
When I left, the lathe was dripping in vegetable juice. And they never did ask me back again.
Oh, Jim, I wouldn't have admitted to that. Now you're just as messed up as Doug Rowe.
Yeah.
Oh no.
That's funny.
I turned a vegetable plate for the one of the turning groups, and they had a picnic, and those guys ate the whole thing. They carrots and radishes, radishes with natural edge bowls and loose rings and all kinds of things. It was really fun.
Carrot wig. A carrot wig.
I
That
logged down my phone. And I come in and zoom in on the thing. Only problem is there's only the spotlight I have.
oh my goodness.
All right.
Okay, I got a FYI. A little while ago, Tom Kenny was showing us the piece he did, and somebody asked, oh, "How did you do that mark on top?" He put that tool in the chat. So before you go to Sealing, save the chat, and you'll find a little note from Tom Kenny. We appreciate that. We're here to share information. We're looking at gallery, but we're also waiting for you to throw a nickel on the table to show us what you do and how you do it. And I think you got one more up there, Dane, don't you?
Yeah, we've got a couple more. Let's go with Heather, if you will start your video.
I'm hiding in the closet at work, so you'll have to bear with me. Don't tell on me.
Dedicated there.
Yeah.
As long as no patients being ignored.
Oh no, I don't look after them. I clean the room after they leave.
Got it.
Okay, so I'm going to turn my camera around here if I can. Maybe not. Okay, we'll go like this. How's that?
Here we go. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Can you see it here? There we go.
Yep.
There we go.
Cool.
That is crazy.
Hemisphere or a streptohedron that I made.
Oh my goodness.
Got a good fit on that one.
Tattoo. She's got a Brenda tattoo.
And these are made out of 2x4. Just a pine 2x4.
Wow.
This one here. There's another one. It rolls too.
Goodness.
Oh.
Did you get that? Did you get that band-aid turning?
No, I don't know what that is. I think I had a scratch on my hand. No, I did not.
Okay, good enough.
And I had a little piece of 2x4 left, so I just made a little dish.
Cute.
But it has the chatoyance on there too.
Yes.
Just
beautiful.
Pine 2x4. Here we go.
Pretty chunk of pine.
That purple thingy there you got. It. Did you paint that?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I used the intrinsic colors, they call them.
Okay.
They're like metallic paints.
Yeah.
Are
Somebody
you
needs to do
talking
a
about,
demo on that.
are you talking about interference or iridescent?
Iridescence, that's the word. Thank you.
Yep.
Gorgeous. That
Intrinsic
thing's
colors
neat.
are a dye.
But the kids would love those things.
Oh, yeah. I'm thinking Christmas ornament. Hang it up
Oh,
and when it
yeah.
spins. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that would
Ew,
look
yeah.
good too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's it.
Drill a hole in
That's
that
all
thing.
I-
Yeah.
That's all I've been turning this week.
Cool.
Nice.
Thanks, Heather.
So different.
All right,
You're welcome.
Now get back to work.
Okay.
Oh, check out Doug Miller's comment. Check out Doug Miller's comment.
Go to Bill. Hey, Bill.
Come out of the closet.
Don't worry, I'm
Be
not in the
safe now. We
closet.
got Bill up online.
Good evening, folks.
Good evening.
First thing is a suggestion that we could, I think, look at some sort of a system so that people, when they're offering to bring things to the gallery, get to pick where they are in the evening to avoid having to follow some of the stuff that we've had to follow tonight.
And so it's been noted and filed away.
Yeah. So what I have tonight is a holoform. It's a fur burl. I don't. It's from the Pacific Northwest coast. I don't know what kind of fur it is, but it's a very pretty piece of wood, and
That's gorgeous.
I feel bad about leaving it on the shop floor, so I did something like that. Left a little rim on it, and yeah.
That is gorgeous.
That's gorgeous.
Because it's fur, it's really hard to turn because it wants to flake off, and I don't know what you call it, but you get the little where is it? You can, I don't know whether you can see that, but there's a little this spot here.
Just a little tear out.
Yeah, fur. Yeah, a little bit of tear out. Fur likes to do that, and so the finish is CA glue to try and stick that down to keep it in place. Anyway,
That is gorgeous.
That is gorgeous, Bill.
Yeah,
And I love the way you saved the top there and added, left the burl on it,
yeah.
hollowing it all out. That's great.
Is that hollowed up underneath the edges there?
Oh yeah, it's a 1/8 inch wall.
Okay, good.
Beautiful.
Thank you. That's it for today.
Yep, nice job. All right, we got one more, and then I think we can go to Safety Sue after Donald shows his piece here. Donald, let's see, where are you? Donald, you out there?
Start talking, sir. Okay, let's say Donald's lost in a fog.
Yeah, it could have been. Let's see, is Sue out there? Nope, doesn't look like it.
I don't think I've seen Sue yet.
Yeah, I didn't think I had either, so. All right. We'll go back to Eddie, and then we'll probably go to our demo.
I got something to show.
Okay, I'm here now if you got me.
Oh, you're here now?
Is that Donald?
I'm here now. This is Donald.
Donald, where you at?
Yep, I'm-
There you are. Okay.
I'm here. Yeah, I
Gotcha.
was unmuted. There I
Okay.
am.
We got you.
Gotcha.
Okay. I got something a little different.
Oh my.
Oh.
Got that background going on.
Yep.
Yeah, it's cutting it out.
Looking real
Yeah.
blurry
That's
here.
neat.
but-
Did you turn all those little pieces?
Oh, yeah.
Pull it right
Yeah.
back even with your face, Donald. Pull it back
Okay.
even with your face. There you
All right.
go.
You have
See,
your
now it's
background
rusty.
muted.
That's
You have your
rusty.
background blurred.
Donald, can you kill that background screener that you have on?
All right, let's.
Now we got you.
Is that better? Oh,
Not much.
Oh.
Not much.
Not
The
much.
outside handles.
still is not getting the handles,
Yeah.
but I
But what
started
we can
making
see,
this out.
it looks really good.
I was
so
gonna
tell
put
us
it on my
about it.
Yeah.
pontoon boat.
Pull it
and
back
I
towards
left
your
the hub
face.
out, because I was gonna wait and see what kind of shaft I had to mount it to. And I was gonna do that later. but my wife wants to hang it on the wall in her nautical bedroom.
There you go. All you got to do is make another one, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Donald, move that back towards your face.
Right, even with your face, even with you pull. Yeah,
Besides
your camera's picking up wrong.
Well, he's
But hey,
got the blur background set. in
Oh, there you
video
go.
setting, and that's what's causing this problem.
There you go.
Oh. Yeah, when you do that, you can see the individual parts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
but it is a pretty piece of work.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What's a
And,
lumber?
it was easy to make. I mean, very easy to make.
How'd you get those spokes in there?
A little difficulty, but not much. What it is, if I don't know if you can see it, but right inside here, you can see the holes I drilled all the way through.
Yeah.
All right, and the shaft here, right here, is the same size. I stuck them way down right about there, and then I was able to feed them into the other end.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Into the outer, and then pull them up there and glue them.
Yeah. Pull them back and glue them. Look
And
good.
actually,
though.
they're the same on the inside. When I put my hub in, it's not going to let them come back to the center.
So they're flush on the center.
Yes.
That's good. Yeah, it looks nice.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you make it out of?
It's out of oak, red
Okay.
oak.
It's pretty. Nice work.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah,
molds
nice
and
one.
not all that kind of stuff, but it is turning. I did
Yeah,
cheat
good.
a little bit on the big ring here. I did that with a router,
Still looks nice.
and it's all segmented.
Yeah, it looks good.
But got a lot of folks wanted it, but I told them my pontoon needs a steering wheel.
You'll just have to keep making them.
Right.
Well, I just want you to know that I enjoy. I've been here just about every night, and y'all used to get me confused with Donald from Australia.
Ah.
And, so anyway, I really enjoyed it, and I hadn't missed one. Those that I couldn't make, which has been about 3 since y'all started, I caught those on the internet.
Right.
All right.
So
A regular.
that's all I've got.
That's good to hear. Thanks, Don.
Good. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Sharing.
Thanks for joining us tonight.
Good looking work.
Okay.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
We look forward to seeing some more of your turning.
Well, there's more. There's a bunch
All
more.
right. Well, we want to see it.
One of my buddies did a wheel like that a couple of years ago, and it mushroomed into. He did the console, he did the throttle holder.
Oh, goodness.
It became a major project, and all of it had turn parts in it. And he got to be a pretty good turner because he knocked all the spindles out on his porch railings, thinking he could get somebody to come replace them. They didn't show up, so he had to make 80 spindles for his porch. And so he got a pretty good turner at that point. Okay, tonight we're going to have Jim Duxbury show us a little demonstration. Jim last week shared with us a chuck, and it's available online with our worldwidewoodturners.org. And there's also a couple of pictures on Facebook put up there by Bill Burt. Billy Burt made some the next day, and there's a lot of input and comment to it. And that is one of the reasons we're here, because that's one of those tip-off things. All Jim did last week was tip the ball, and we've just made it roll and roll and roll. And that's the beauty of this. So if you have something like that you like to share, please jump on board. There are no rules or restrictions or anything else. We know the rules. You got to be safe. You got to be kind. No vulgarity, and no religion, no politics. They're pretty simple. You have to be a nice person. That's the main rule, and that's why we gather here. We do have on our website, if you may have heard something about it, we do now have a bartering site on it. Help me, David.
Right.
Wow.
A bartering board, and you can put up things that you might have that are extra. You want to barter them away with somebody else. So hopefully everybody will go over to the bartering board. You ought to be able to find it by going to the home page and clicking on a button that said Bartering Board Plus, and it'll take you over to that page.
Okay, thank you. That's David. He's our master webmaster. And tell you folks, right now, he is probably the best. He is.
Yep.
I said probably, no, he is the best. We have the best website for wood turning in the world. Nobody, all those other guys are following our dust. Okay.
I agree.
I agree.
We have about 5 gallery opportunities coming up this year, and we'll cover them a little bit later on. From Show Me Your Crotch all the way up to Plates and Platters. We got it. And the funny thing is, almost every one of these can be taken by any level wood turner. And remember, it's not a competition. We want to see what you do. So whatever you turn, we want to see it, just like we do gallery here tonight. And I don't think I have anything else on our blips right now. I'm working on a newsletter. I'll get that out in the next couple of days. Still working on the decals and the patches. Boy, that's a nightmare. Gotta be careful who you talk to about that stuff. They all think we got $1 million.
Right.
So, but we're working, get around that. As soon as you tell them what you want, then they want to tell you how they can plus it. You know the feeling. It's like going to a car dealer and saying, "I don't want white walls." Oh, you're missing the gym. It's going to go so much faster with the white walls. All right, Jim Duxbury, you ready for our little demonstration this evening, sir?
We're ready.
All right. Now, Jim, stand by 1 second, folks. I hear a lot of background noise from televisions, radios, and all that, and you do too. And that's very disturbing. So I'm going to mute all, and then Jim Duxbury is going to unmute himself so that he can do this demonstration for us. So I'm going to do the mute all.
Straighten your hair.
Got me.
Each one. Now, Jim, you have to unmute yourself.
You got it. You got it.
All right. Go ahead, please.
Okay, I'm going to do a share. And they come up. This demo is going to be a little different. I wasn't sure I was even going to do this a couple of days ago, but I said I'd fill in. And can you see that picture?
Yes, sir, we do.
Did it come up? Okay. It's me and my wife, Rita, who's become a very good turner. And the thing on her shoulder is a parrotlet. It's the smallest of the parrots. And he's a very good turner too. He loves being out in the shop, and he sits on your shoulder and crawls in behind the face shield when the chips start flying. I say she is 15 years old. We bought it as a he, and had it for 13 and a half years, and he's been to the vet many times, and then he laid an egg. So now it's a she. Those things can happen nowadays. This is going to be more on creativity. If you've got any questions, don't hesitate to ask. We do wood turning day and night. I made up my mind when cameras started coming out and all of this Zoom stuff that I would turn during the day. At night, I write for wood turning magazines, do plans and the bookwork and things. And I am not going to put cameras in that shop because the next thing is a bed, and I'm not doing that. Okay. You got to call a halt one of these days. Let me see if I can change this.
You know, I'm fine with that idea, Jim, just as long as you keep showing us the stuff.
Well, you got it here.
Okay.
This is my shop. The part with the garage door itself is the main shop, and that was here originally. And after about 10 years, I outgrew it and couldn't move in there. So the thing on the side over here is the addition. Nope, the wrong way. This is the side door going in. Some of the log pilers, logs out and back. But I show the door here because this is standing in the doorway now looking into the shop. So the bandsaw is on the left here. There's two tables that are rolling. These tables are super strong. That's a 1.5 inch, some kind of desktops that they quit making years ago, but it's solid core, really strong. And they're about 1/4 inch below the table saw height over here. So when I get sheet goods like plywood and things, I can turn the table saw 90 degrees, put one of these in front of the table and one in back and run plywood through there. If you notice on the shelf up here, there's a bunch of black cans. Those were all Maxwell House or coffee cans with bolts and nuts in them. And you could spend a half a day going through cans looking for a bolt or a nut. So I painted all the cans black, took something out of each can and glued it on the front of each one of them. So now I got them all indexed. And then the next picture is a lot of people have shops. Some have studios. I have a boardroom. This is my boardroom. And this is looking in at the other section. There's a table saw, a jet table saw on the left here, has a router built into the tabletop. That was a bowling alley at one time, that bench, the outfeed table. And all the fences for the router and the table saw are underneath here. There's a sander. I love this sander. My Powermatic is on the side here. I talk every now and then about a Chopsmith, and that sits on the end. There's a Delta lathe here, and this is my wife's lathe and a little footstool so she can reach it. And she has a table with all her tools on it that nobody can touch. The table here, all my tools are wired. Everything is wired. You'll see plugs across the front of here. This whole table is wired. It's on wheels. And you can roll this. There's one wire, you can kind of see it over here through here. One wire goes over to the wall. You can take this whole table out in the driveway and plug one plug in. Both these lathes will work. All these lights work. The grinder works, the sander on the end, and the drill press. Everything is plugged into that. And that's the same with the lathe too. You'll see that later. I have a rolling table here with all my tools on it. I have all my tools in order. That first tool is a parting tool, and next one's a point scraper, next one's a round nose scraper. So when I turn around to pick up a tool, I know exactly where it is. This drawer has sandpaper and all the sanding discs. This drawer has all the adapters, and then there's all chucks and junk underneath there. Everything has a dust collection to it. I did dust collection for 30 years, industrial sheet metal. And each one of these things is called a blast gate. It's an on-off valve. Each one is wired. So when you open this, there's a dust collector in the corner, comes on. And when you close it, it shuts it off. But each one of those is connected. This is looking the other way. This is all the wood racks and stuff. This is some years ago. You should see it now. I'm not showing you now, but anyway, when I did it, I didn't like the moldings. The moldings were expensive for around the door, so I made all the moldings around the door, casings for the windows and all that stuff. These are rare wood cutoffs and all kinds of stuff, all jigs for the bandsaw. I'm famous for kaleidoscopes. We make all kinds of kaleidoscopes. I used to make these 8 and 10 at a time. It's a traditional kaleidoscope. The end has objects in it, and there's mirrors down the middle, and eyepiece on the end here. This is bloodwood and canary. Some of these things are, this is made out of it's made out of 3 pieces of wood. And a lot of times we make these and have them engraved. This was for the Brewster Society, who's Brewster invented kaleidoscopes in 1816. That's another whole story, but anyway, that's what it looks like inside them. I have all kinds of these images. I won't bore you with those, but if you don't have objects in a kaleidoscope, you just have a kaleidoscope with mirrors and an eyepiece and a clear lens on the end, it's called a teleidoscope. And if you mount your camera on a teleidoscope, you get a primary triangle in the middle, and these are all reflections off of it. And you can take all kinds of pictures. My neighbors think I'm nuts because I'm out there on my hands and knees taking pictures of it. This is a dandelion in the grass. I have some with bees and all kinds of fun stuff. But this is a picture just to show what can be done. The primary triangle's in the center with a small hollow form on it. And then this is done in my shop, just horsing around. But all these are reflections off of that. In a kaleidoscope, if you have 3 mirrors, you get triangles that reflect off of this. These are all triangles all the way around here, the same as the primary triangle. If you have 2 mirrors and a black side, you get a mandala. And a mandala is like a star. And the degree of this angle here divided into 360 is how many points would be on the star. So if this was a black side on this, you'd get a 6-pointed star. You can do all kinds of things with kaleidoscopes. But anyway, this is another version of it, upright version, in case you don't have shelf space, but you can see the end here. That's where the objects would be. This one is lighted. This is the same kaleidoscope, same plans. The objects are in here. If you put a solid object in here, like a quarter, it's like holding a quarter up to the sun. You see the black side of it. If you put lights in here on the inside of this and batteries in the handle, and this is an on-off switch, you can show coins, gears, shells, leaves, all kinds of things that you couldn't show in a regular kaleidoscope. The eagle on the back of a quarter is gorgeous to see in a kaleidoscope. But anyway, you squeeze this trigger and the lights come on. There are 3 bulbs in here, full spectrum white screw-in light bulbs. These are not LEDs. LEDs are too purple, they're bluish. That's what it looks like. You can see the trigger. I actually have plans for all these things if anybody wants to make one, but you cut in on the handle, you cut in here and you go in the back here and you come down, you come straight down and you cut out the object box and you go back through that same channel and come out here, and that makes the trigger and it makes an object box or a battery box. So it's kind of a neat design. But anyway, any questions so far? Or just this is the same kind of thing. The battery box is underneath. There's the on-off switch. Objects go in the end, and a harp here for elevation. There's a bunch of them. These went to Washington, D.C., a big dinner or something up there. They sold them up there. Kind of came out yellowish. I don't know. Not the greatest photographer. One of the hardest parts of wood turning is being a photographer. The guy wanted a special one of these. So something really special. I don't remember what the occasion was, but anyway, I started dreaming up something special. I made this. This is driven with agate beads, half-inch diameter or 50 millimeter agate beads. They go around this drive and they go around here and go over here. this has gears cut in it the same size as the agates, and they come around the back and go over the top and back around here. And the light bulb hanging on the agate beads underneath here turns the light on. It was quite a job. There's still beads in my shop. The beads are strung on monofilament line. And I ended up having to glue every damn bead on that line, because if you don't, as you start pulling on them, they start bunching up, and then you run into spaces that don't have any beads. And if you drop one end, every bead on the entire line runs off of it and goes under everything in a place. There's beads out there that'll never be found, I swear. I think there was 108 of them on this string. I can't tell you how many times they put beads on that daggone string. This is what it looks like inside. There again, this is lit now on the inside. So you can see there's some gears in here. I don't know what this stuff is, but anyway, there's all kinds of stuff in here. He really liked it. This is one of my first designs. It's a floor model kaleidoscope. And this has the elevation control and a crank to turn it. You'll see this later, but it didn't have a swivel joint in it. Also, when I sold these things, I had to crate them, and to crate it was a bugger, because the first crate I made was out of plywood and it was all padded, and oh God, it was gorgeous. And I took it to UPS and they said, "We don't accept wooden crates." You gotta be kidding. So I took it home and I clad the whole thing in cardboard. They girthed it and height it, and it has to be within 108 inches, I think. I was 109 inches. And I had to bring that home and take it apart and do, anyway. That would never happen again. So I made this one. This model has the elevation control. It has, this is the crank to turn the object on, or the object box on the end. This has a swivel here. It also has a little lever right there. You'll see this later, I think. That lever is down, and in that down position, you can lift this up. It's one unit. When you lift this up, that swivel comes apart. This leg, these legs pull off of here, and these four legs come apart. So you can ship this in a small box. You do get smart after a while, I'll tell you. Oh, this is a little releasing lever here, but this is a swivel joint in here. This is a crank to turn the end here. And this is the elevation control, Celtic knot. It's fluted. This is the other side. It's got a 90-degree set of gears, and it's got a parallel set of gears here that are sort of loose. That lets it click. I thought wooden gears should click. And it sounds pretty good now. This is all cherry with maple trim. This button here turns the lights on inside. It's drilled inside here. There's 2 AA batteries fit inside of this, 3 light bulbs in the end, and it has oil-filled object boxes and things. This is a 3-mirror 30, 60, 90-degree triangle. So the object, the hole is off to the side, to the bigger side of the mirrors. And that's what it looks like laying down. Here's the releasing lever. And here, that has a dowel go straight through with a flat spot in it. And that dowel fits into that groove there in the swivel. So that's the locking mechanism. The legs go together, these fit inside each other, and that goes down on top of it. The Brewster Society had a convention, and the theme was up, up, and away. So we made, I don't know how many, 40 of these things, little rocket ships, and some were in kits that they wanted to put together there. So we made some in kits and some together and whatever else. But there's it goes on a little brass rod, welding rod or something. The end is turned acrylic and polished. It's 3 mirrors with objects underneath here. and an eyepiece. You'll see we had a great time doing this. We are a team. She likes doing this more than I do, believe it. Sometimes anyway, we made these things up, and this is running them through the table saw, cutting the miters. And this is gluing them up. There's 3 pieces glue up into a triangle. And when you turn the outside round, there's a triangle down the middle of it to put the mirrors in. So it's not like a drilled kaleidoscope where you have a triangle in the middle and a drilled hole. Here's, I forget what we're cutting here, but anyway, that's gluing them up. I always mark the outside of my pieces. I look at each board, pick the good part or whatever I want inside and put a big mark on the outside. In fact, I mark almost everything. When I go up to the saw, I don't have to think about what I'm doing. It's marked. This is what it looks like turned. You can see the inside is triangular and the outside is round. This is what the pieces look like when they're these are turned nose cones, eyepieces. These are the barrels. So, and then there's discs somewhere. There's discs go inside here, and the nose cone goes on top, and objects go in there, and then the nose cone goes on there. But anyway, they were a big hit. We had a great time. Well, this is painting them or finishing them. This is a little timer. This is a rotisserie that I screwed a wooden block to. It fits in my joist, my vise. And it's got I think it's about a 1/4 inch square drive, but it's got a 1/4 inch square cut into the end of a broomstick or something that sticks out here. So all I do is slide these over that broomstick, turn the timer on to 10 minutes or something. And as it turns, I can spray it with lacquer. And that way you can give it a really good heavy coat and it doesn't run, it keeps turning. These are the bases being finished. The wings, you didn't want glue on the bottom of the wing. I mean, you didn't want finish on the wings. So I cut plywood and stick them in there. It holds them up straight and it eliminates having to mask the slot or the tongue on the end of that goes into the kaleidoscopes. And that's what it looks like, up and away.
Awesome.
They were a real hit. These things are all over the world. I mean, a bunch of them went to Japan. England has a couple. I don't remember where, but they went all over the world. I do turn hats. This is a maple hat and a couple of small hats. And that's a poplar hat. I thought that was going to be a piece of scrap. It had a rotten log went right through the side of the tree, and it ended up, it stained it just beautifully. So it came out really nice. I turned another poplar hat and came out great. And I thought on the other side of the poplar tree, I could turn a woman's hat. And I thought, why would I do that? I'd turn a pair of underwear. So I turned a pair of, this is size 34 jockey shorts. It looked like a fun turning, but it was a bugger to do. I tell you, a hat has about an 8-inch diameter crown, about 5 inches high. This thing is 10 inches in diameter and 10 inches high or something. To get the height, to get the size of them, I calipered you can caliper the front and back of your body, but to get the height, I had to pull the shades in my shop. I had a level between my legs and I'm putting marks on the wall. The problem with that is when you look down to see where the bubble is, your behind goes up. And I had marks all over the wall. I finally got the thing figured out, but
I hope Rita got pictures of all this.
Oh yeah. He wasn't allowed in there. It's not just a round piece turned oval. are squeezed oval, like the crotch is flat this way and radius the other way. That has to be bent. And the holes in the side, if you look at a pair of underwear, the holes are not not round holes in the center. They're off to the front.
Hey,
It
Jim,
was more than I thought I was getting into. Right? Yeah.
Hey, Jim, you should have waited to show that for the Show Me Your Crotch challenge.
Oh, you got no, never mind. Yeah, there's been a lot said about it. I think I've shown this. This is some of these I've shown before. This is a drawing of a chandelier. I was in Murano, Italy, and they make all kinds of stained glass, blown glass, every kind of glass you can imagine. But I didn't even like glass till I came out of there. But I saw a chandelier and I thought that was really neat. And so I came home and made one out of, first I wanted to buy one. And my wife said, you know, if you get home and one of those things is broken, that whole thing's shot. You're never going to get another piece. And so on the plane, I drew that up. And when I got home, I made this up. It's cherry and maple. There's 5 arms on it with LED bulbs. That's all the parts and pieces. This is the bottom. These arms, that was a circle turned front and back. It's got a hole through the middle. It's turned in 2 layers. So it's got a wire chase through the middle of it. When I got all done, I cut it in half and put trim pieces in here and offset it to make the arms. The stem is fluted. These curlicues are in 3 pieces. Maybe you can see it better somewhere else. This is the arm itself. And the stem is, or these things are in 3 pieces. If this was 1 piece, this would be, these are bandsawed out of a flat piece of wood. If this was 1 piece, you'd have side grain across here somewhere and it would break. By making it out of 3 pieces, it actually becomes springy. It's super strong. I think I only broke 1, but this is fluting it. Like I said, I do a lot of things on the Shopsmith that can't be done anywhere else. I made a degree wheel to fit the thing, the chuck part, and this locks in here on, I think I can do 2.5 degrees, I think, and then I have a vernier takes it down to 1/2 degree if I want it, but this wheel does 2.5 degrees. This is a Fordham type tool with a ball cutter in the end, held on a platform, on a flat platform here. The end of this is rounded, and the depth gauge has nothing to do with the end of this ball. The depth gauge is this piece cut over here. This thing, before I set the depth of this, I set it at 0, back it off, and follow this, and then put a mark across. This sits on top of that piece of plywood, and I get the curvature that I need of this cut that I'm making. Then I cut this out, reset this, and bring this into the depth that I want. And that makes this cut here, makes that shape there. And that's really nice, because if you wanted a deep here to taper out, you could actually make this thicker on this end and it would taper out. Or if you wanted a bump in the middle or whatever. I made another one for the other section, but that really works nice. I make balls. I don't know if I've ever shown these or not. These are 4 balls. When you spin the top one, they all spin and run around here. And a race on the bottom. These are, oh, what are those brown ones? Meringue. Rita knows all the woods. Marabo. I can't remember anyway. I made a bunch of different ones. These are Wangi and maple. It's hard enough to make 4 balls that match. They got to be all perfectly round and almost perfectly the same size. But then you have to make a race, and the race is the hardest part because I draw this so I know what it's going to be. And when you make the race, there has to be about a 1/4 inch clearance between the balls. So this race has to be tangent on the bottom and the side here, and leave about a 1/4 inch space in the middle there. So these will roll. I have been thinking about making this electrified. And some of my friends, when I showed it, said, I can't believe you didn't make that motor operated. So I made a set that's motor operated. These are the 4 balls and the race. And the center section right here is motorized. That center section turns, runs on a, I think it's an 18-volt motor, 40 RPM motor. That's the motor set in the bottom of the block of wood with a square drive. I could show videos on this, but you'll see enough. Another thing I'd like to do is I like to use geometry. In geometry, any 2 spheres that intersect each other leave a perfect circle hole, no matter what size they are. And if you turn a square, a cube, a little bit bigger than halfway of this cube, and turn another sphere in the side of that, where they intersect, it'll leave round holes. It's got to be exactly centered on here, exactly the sphere. You do it with templates. And if this is off to one side, you'll have a big hole in one side and a little hole in the other side. But it's kind of interesting. We demo this, we've done some workshops of this. This one here is turned, this one's a sphere on this side, and these are done with Forster bits and then tuned up on the lathe. But anyway, these are drilled straight in and then a flat surface. They're drilled in at a specific depth, 2 different sized drill holes. And if you have a sphere going into a flat surface, it leaves like an oval. You can't see if you have a sphere, I forget what, this is the sphere going into a flat surface. On the sphere side, it leaves a football shape. On the other side, it leaves a square side and a half round. Anyway, we make a bunch of those different things. That's looking at a bigger one to the side.
Think what you're saying.
And this is the end view of it. This is jumped. This was done for the AAW for some kind of contest they had. It had to be within 8 inch. You had to fit, had to have a cube within and be within an 8 inch cube, fit within an 8 inch cube. But anyway, it's turned 4 vortexes set on the corner. Kind of fun. Didn't win. These I've shown the jig for this. These are lace cut bowls, I call them. This is a 5-lobe cam with a 1 inch deflection. This is a 4-lobe cam with an 1.5 inch deflection. And this is a straight cut with a lace cut on the back of it. This one, I saw Hans Weislag show a bowl, but he wouldn't tell how he did it. So I came home and I made one. If I see a demo, almost every time I come home and make it. But you won't see too many more of these. I noticed later that he doesn't put a foot on his, and that gives you another point to triangulate these things off of. But anyway, it's got to be a perfect sphere. These are a 16th wide by a 16th deep. and the bowl is an eighth of an inch deep. So where the designs cross each other, you can see through it. It's really neat. Just some gorgeous work. And these are the lace cut bowls again. I had shown that before, I think. Huh. You've seen a lot of these dizzy bowls. They're usually, or they're always, straight-sided V-shape. And I wanted to make one that was OG. So I made these. This is done in layers. This whole thing is a piece of, it's a bunch of wood about 1.25 inches thick, various widths, glued up to make a 12 by 12 piece, 12 by 12 by 1.5 inches or 1.25 inches thick. And then there's slices cut off of it. And each slice, I don't know whether I show my pattern. Anyway, each slice of this is a 2-color one. Each slice of this is cut. There's like 4 or 5 slices. This ring would be cut out of the middle of maybe this ring, and that ring would be cut out of the middle of that ring, and that ring would be cut out of the middle of this one. So out of each slice, you'd get 4 or 5 slices, and then you glue them up and step them. I think on this one, I used this pattern here as the indexing to step this around. And the top is made out of, this is Wangian maple.
I think we're just saying.
This is a similar thing. This is made probably about a 5 by 5 block of wood glued up out of all little pieces and then cut into discs, maybe 1/4 inch thick. The discs are indexed to make a pattern and glued back together. And then you get a cylinder that's maybe 5 inches in diameter and 6 inches or 8 inches long, and you turn that into a natural edge bowl. Don't do it. It's not worth the work. It's a lot of time and a lot of work for something that doesn't turn out that great. But you have to experiment. Some things work, some don't. This one was two sets of miter rings. I think that's ash and this is walnut. They're just little miter rings and they're glued together. They're cut. When you got 2 rings glued together, you cut them diagonally and take the one on the one side and glue it on the other side. So it gives you diagonal stripes. I think I showed this. This is a bowl from a board. You start out with a flat board and you cut these rings. So this ring fits underneath this one and this one fits underneath that one. And it makes a bowl like that from a flat board. And they look like that. And that's usually what they make the dizzy bowls. That's how they make the dizzy bowls. This is why a similar thing made out of, instead of a flat piece of wood, this would be a flat piece of wood, but these would all be strips glued together. Any questions so far? Everybody's, no questions. This is good. You're sleeping. Huh. Anyway, this is glue, the same kind of thing. This is a piece about 8 by 8 glued up. Makes 8 by 8 by 1 inch thick, all glued up out of different colored strips. Then cut into a bowl and indexed. This one's hard to explain. This is glued up 10 by 10, about 1 inch thick. out of 3 different colored woods, maybe 3/8 of an inch thick. They're glued up, they're stacked up and glued. And then they're set on end and cut diagonally, and one piece put on the other side of the other piece. And then that's turned into a bowl like this. And that gives you that slanted pattern through each one of the rings.
That one almost hurts my eyes.
And we're not sleeping, we're stunned.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Exactly.
Nobody knows what to say. Man, these are really pretty.
That's wild, man.
So
Excellent work.
Jim, we do have one question back on the kaleidoscopes. There was a question wanting to know if the eyepiece was off center or if it was straight on dead center.
And you're muted, Jim.
It's muted.
Jim, you went mute. Oh no.
Jim, can you press the space bar?
Doggone it.
He's
We'll
definitely
never
showing
know
up.
the answer.
There you go. He's showing up in the list as muted.
I can see him moving.
There you go. Now he's off mute.
Well, I don't know where I'm. Don't ask me how I got muted.
Yeah, later.
Yeah.
All right, so Jim, we had one question back
Yes.
on the so there was a question on the kaleidoscopes where they were wanting to know if the eyepiece was on center or if it was off center.
In the traditional let me explain that later, okay?
Okay.
When we're done, I'll go back to that. I can show that.
Sounds good.
I have no idea how I got muted. A lot of things happen, I don't know. Anyway, this is a 3-sided bowl turned from a cube. You've probably seen demos on this, but it starts out about a 8x8, or this is about a 6x6 cube of maple, and it's turned into a 3-corner bowl. It's very hard to come up with bigger bowls, bigger blocks of dry wood, like if you want an 8x8 or a 10x10. So by gluing things up, you can develop that. This is about 1.5 inches square, maybe bigger than that, 1 3/4 square, probably wangi. You glue 2 pieces of maple or a cherry to it and face off the edge, and glue 2 pieces of cherry to that and face off the edge, and glue 2 pieces of maple to that. And the same way you build that up, and you can build up an 8x8 or a 10x10 cube with a design in it. Now I'll show different designs. This is the side view of it. End view, straight down. These sell unreal, but there's a lot of work to these things. This is a different one. This is made, I forget what this is. And this is a bloodwood one, I think. But you can see here, instead of the features put in the side more. This is a wangi and a cherry one. This one is cherry and I forget what they call that cherry. Yeah, anyways, different kind, some kind of cherry and Ash, no, Ash, I think. And here's another pattern to glue up. This is about an 8x8 cube. It starts out with a 3/4 by 3/4 piece, 8 inches long, and you glue another one to it, the side of it. You face off the side of that, and then you glue a 1.5 by 3/4 by 8-inch long strip to that, and you face that off. No, here I glued this onto this side. I cheated on this one, I think. I glued one on this side, and then I glued one on this side, faced this off, glued this on here. No, I didn't. I glued 2 of these together. And I faced that off. That's probably a faster way of doing this rather than face this off. I glued these 2 together, faced this off, and I glued this on, probably in this off, faced this off. Anyway, you build this up and it looks, it gives you, I don't have a second picture of that. It gives you a nice pattern from the top. And you can use up all your scrap too, a lot of it. This is glued up with the feature piece right in this. No, it isn't. This is glued up in strips. This is glued up like 8 by 8 by whatever thickness strips you got, just stacked up to make it 8 inches this way by 8 inch by 8 inch. And when you turn it, you get a piece out the side. So as this is dishing around, this becomes round. I think I've shown this. This is the slatted vase. This is a piece of birch, about 8 inches wide and 18 inches long, bandsaw cut from both ends, back and forth to make it accordion, like that. And then it's sculpted on the top and the bottom to make whatever sculpting you want. And then you can spread it out, turn a piece for the top and bottom. This was an umbrella stand or something. And there's, I make a bunch of these things. These are vases. It's got a cup in the middle. There's a disc in the middle here, and there's a couple different slots, so you can adjust the width of this thing. If you push this down, it makes that go out further. You can adjust the diameter of the top and get the effect you want. This is the sun. That's a yellow heart. And this is the same thing, only it's expanded. Instead of being a circle, it's spread out this way. These are spirals. This is a 3-center spiral. The center of the piece is turned out here. And then I lay this out. This is a 1-inch circle. The center of the piece is right here in between these 2 circles. So the design on the top of this is shifted this way toward the bottom, 1/4 inch. The design on the back of it is the same thing, shifted 1/4 inch the other way. So that gives you a 1/2 inch shift, and that puts this bar right through the center of that other circle. And then each one of these suspend the circle below that. I make these in all different configurations. The one in back is a Purple Heart. I think there's more of these. That's a 10-center turning. These are about 1/8 of an inch ribs, 3/8 of an inch apart. I made one of these for the heck of it. A guy bought this. I really didn't want to sell this, but he bought this. He turns it on its side. He says it's a fish. He loves it. Anyway, you never know. I made some lamps out of them. Lamps really sell. It takes a while to make these things, but I made a bunch of different lamps out of these things. These are small. I started out Christmas tree ornaments, but it ended up, they're kind of fun to do. And you can, with little ones, you can do all kind of things. This is actually a block of wood about 3 inches by 4 inches, 3/8 of an inch thick. And I turned a design on the front. This is actually was turned in a circle and then cut in half at a 45-degree angle right through the center. And then this piece was flipped over and glued on. So it gives you an S shape through the middle. And this one was turned with a design on both sides, cut in half, and about 1/8 of an inch taken out of both sides. You can't hardly see it here, but it came out oval. You can have a lot of fun doing these things, and there doesn't take much wood. This is a 12 center turning. There's 1 center for the outside, and each one of these is 3 centers. This is the main center here, and it has a ring around it. But the second ring is tangent to the first ring. So the groove that goes around here is the same groove that would go around this one. And this one is tangent to this one. So this is 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then 12. The back is a 12. It's airbrushed yellow and red, and then sanded through just for a highlight. On these, on any of this stuff, I lay this out and make a drawing of it. I do that sometimes in the evenings. That's kind of fun to do in the evenings. But I have a couple glasses of wine while I'm doing this sometimes. Maybe you can tell. Anyway, and then I print it out, and I actually use the print. I glue the print or the copy of the print right on the surface of this. And that gives me all my centers and the proportions and things. So I don't have to do a layout. This is a 10 center one. These are just 1 center. These are 3 centers. Kind of fun. And this is a Purple Heart 10 center. I really enjoyed Stuart Mortimer. He did this hollow form, and I like making hollow forms, so I made a hollow form. And this is out of popper. I think this was kind of experimental. And I thought it'd be neat to light it, so I turned a light bulb out of acrylic, like a Christmas tree light, and put a LED up in there. And there's 2 batteries in the bottom. When you turn the bottom, this thing lights up. You just turn the bottom for the switch. The top here has these are turned brass plumbing fittings. That's a coupling and a piece of pipe that are turned out of brass. That's what it looks like. I like making brass threaded. I've done wooden threads, but if you sell your work and the weather changes and the thing doesn't come apart, you're in trouble. So I just don't do that anymore. It's great, but this works. Not only that, I can make these, and I can screw this on a different hollow form if I want. I mean, it fits everything. So these work really good. I didn't like the light bulb. After I got done, I don't know, it didn't help things. So I ended up pulling that out, and turning another finial and fishing it down through here and putting this whole thing back together, do away with a battery box. And sometimes it looks good, but or sounds good, but it doesn't work. I did this just to see if I could do it. It's very hard to make 2 of these that match, that are the same size. And lefts and rights are even harder. So I decided to do lefts and rights. They're not only hard to do, but you don't realize it when you're doing this one in the lathe, your hand goes this way and you can stand in these and do this. When you do this one, your hand doesn't go this way. And unless you stand on the other side of the lathe and use the other hand, this is really a bugger to do. But anyway, I had a good time doing this. I got a pair of these. These are not for sale. I really love them. Stuart Mortimer's quite a guy. I had a great time with him. We housed him a couple times over here when he was doing symposiums and things. A neat guy. I learned how to do a pigtail, and finally, after messing up a few pigtails, I said, damn, I got to make a pig. So I turned a pig, and then I turned the ears and split them. That was turned with paper and split. I don't remember how I did that. Anyway, I thought he was kind of cute, and I liked him, and it was the first time I'd ever made a pigtail that really looked really good. A woman came up at the North Carolina symposium, and I just showed it there for the heck of it. And she says, I want to buy that pig. And I said, no, I don't want to sell that pig. Thank God she pestered me so long, I finally sold the pig. I shouldn't have done it. I really like the pig. Sometimes you get attached to things. Anyway, I make a lot of little stools. These are fun to make. These are about 10 inches in diameter. I don't know, a foot high. You can make these on a mini lathe. And I've made a bunch of these. They're all different. My wife does the wood burning in them. And milking stools. I make bigger stools too. This was made, one of my first ones. It's a long story, but I had to learn AutoCAD. First off, I don't have a degree in anything. I've been to college many times. I never had time to get a degree, but I take classes and learn what I want, and then I quit. So one of the classes was AutoCAD. And after I got AutoCAD, I went up to Makerspace and used their CNC router and cut some different patterns. And this is a interlocking puzzle piece with an interlocking ring around the outside. It's the first one I did, and it was quite a problem. But anyway, it turned out pretty nice. And from that, I thought that was kind of neat. So I made another one, and rather than redraw it, this is the same puzzle piece. Fits in 4 directions out of 2 different kinds of wood. But that's exactly the same puzzle piece as this piece and this piece and this piece. And it came out really nice. I like this. This is not for sale. I sold the other one finally. But it's amazing. That thing, I don't have use for a CNC router, but it makes a wonderful turning blank. You can do all kinds of things with it. And the things fit together. It takes a little creativity because the tolerances for making drawer fronts or drawer dovetails is not the same as it is for this sort of thing. But anyway, you can get this right to the button and it works beautiful. This is the bottom. The bottom's inlaid. I don't know whether I show the inlays. Yeah, this is the bottom. This is inlaid with a Freud, that inlay router tool. I use that for a lot of things. But for people that really like my stools, I give them a stool sample. These are little stool samples. I've given a lot of those away.
Boy, they're very quiet. I mean, you don't hear anything right now.
They used to bother me. I'd do a whole demo and they wouldn't have noise. And I thought maybe my sound's not turned on or something. Anyway,
this is amazing stuff, Jim, and there is a lively discussion and comments. So,
oh, really? I can't.
Nobody wants to hear me barking at them.
No, you can say anything you want or ask questions. I have no problem with that. This is the same kind of pattern that was in the top of that first stool, only I made a tray out of it. This is turned on a faceplate, and actually these handles go out a little further. This was actually turned in a rectangular piece, and screw holes were put through the sacrificial part out here, here, and here on 4 places. And the outside of this was turned, and the inside, the whole inside was turned. Then the screws were taken out and put in here in this web in here, and this handle was turned. Then you take the screws out and you cut the outside, that outside piece out on the bandsaw, and you got handles on the outside of your tray. That's the back of it. I've done a few of these. They're kind of fun to do. Pepper grinders. These are salt shakers and pepper grinders. Most pepper mills have a big wooden top on the top of these things, and you turn that and then it grinds pepper. This is hollowed out, and the top of this has holes in it, 6 holes in it, and this top comes off. You put salt in here, so it's a salt shaker on the top with a pepper mill in the bottom. These are pepper mill lighthouses. We make a bunch of these. A lot of people turn pens and pencils, so I turned my pencil this way. This is actually a turned pencil. This is, you put a piece of wood on a faceplate of a lathe, say a 3/4 inch block of wood, 6 inches square, and turn a pencil, the outside of a pencil, turn half a pencil. And then when you part it off, you've got a whole ring of half a pencil. You cut it in half and put the 2 halves together, and you've got a half round pencil. And you take another pencil and pull the brass ring off the end and cut a little hole in the end, or drill a little hole in the end, put a little lead in the end. But this is also a dovetail pencil box. This fits in here, and this was made on a Shopsmith, by the way. And if you ever make one of these, make the pencil box first, because it's easy to make the pencil to fit it. The other way is a bugger. I learned a lot of this the hard way. These are different pencils and pens. I made a sled for my table saw to cut Celtic knots and all kinds of things in pen blanks. All my pens and pencils are made with a triangular grip on them. These I made these just to show these different configurations, but I make all my pencils or pens now with a triangular grip, and that's done by hand, by eye actually. These are all different Celtic knots, different ways of doing things. Lots of fun. It's all done on a table saw when it's square. A friend of mine collects mushrooms, and she wanted me to make her a mushroom for her collection. So I made her a mushroom pen. I made 3 of them. These are actually big pens, and I think this is holly with a mahogany red. There is a mushroom like this. We used to call them pinkies. I'm not allowed to pick them anymore. It gave my wife a headache, so she doesn't let me pick them. But anyway, this is the pens. And this is a vial. I might have shown this. Did I show this?
No.
I might have shown it. Anyway, this vial is I got 250 of these. They were throwing them out. One of the schools threw them out, and I said, I just can't throw that out. So I wasn't sure what the thing did. Actually, in sampling different liquids and powders and things, if they want to keep it for a long time, they pour this bottom section full of the stuff, and they heat this bulb up here and twist it. And when you do that, you seal the thing, this bottom, it breaks off, and you seal this in glass. So it's kind of neat. And I wrote an article. I've written articles on that. I don't know, I thought I had more pictures. Anyway, this is a 2-center turning, 3-center turning. The bottom is 1 center and then there's 2 centers on the top. That's 3 different ways of doing the same thing. This is called a, I can't think, endless, I forget what they call this thing. Endless cube or something. Anyway, it's not too hard to make out of square, and I made one of these as a prototype, and I thought it'd be kind of neat to make that round. So I made a round one, and a round one is much harder because you don't have the sides to get your 90-degree cuts off of. This was written up in American Woodturner, the journal, last year, I think. But anyway, that's the finish. Looking at the top of it, these are the pieces. This was poplar with cherry splines. Each one of these pieces is turned, and then that's a piece. That's just a burn line. That's not a separate piece, but that's what it looks like pre-assembled. And then you start assembling them and glue them together. They got to be exactly square and straight, or the last piece won't go together. I lucked out. I got it right, but this is the whole thing in 2 pieces. This was 3 pieces. Here's the 3 different pieces here, and then I actually put tape on these and mark them with different colors. So this one here is going to index up and go on to there. This one's going to go on to here. So this is in 2 pieces. And when you get all done, it looks like this. It's not much use, but it's fun to have. Anyway, these I call shark tooth bowls. These are like, you take a cylinder and cut teeth in it or whatever you want, a configuration in there, and then turn a natural edge bowl out of it, turn it 90 degrees and turn different bowls. This is kind of a flat one. I think this one had a sacrificial piece in the center of it, but this is a long skinny one. It's a short fat one. This is a bowl that broke in half, so I cut the middle out of it and put pieces in it. That really works nice on some woods especially. And I'll tell you, they sell better than a regular bowl. These are oak bowls. This is a long story, but they had a tree come down up here, and it was a historical tree. And they asked me if I wanted it, and I said no. And my wife said, yeah, he wants some. So I ended up turning 49 bowls out of this. And I think about 48 of them broke. I don't know, a lot of them broke. Anyway, I cut some of them up in slices and turned bottoms on them. And the slices, people love these things. Also, I wanted to show this. Instead of bow ties, I showed before I used that Freud inlay tool. I make a pattern, and when you make a pattern with this Freud inlay tool, you can cut the inside and the outside to do it. An inlay and then cut a place where the inlay fits into it. Instead of doing a bow tie where you'd have square corners and you'd have to chisel it out, I do it like a dog bone kind of thing. And I make my own. I make them in all different sizes. So I actually make these little dog bones, and then I use the same template, and you put it on here, hot melt glue it on here, and you put a ring on this cutter to set the cutter in 1/16 of an inch, and you cut the whole center out of here, and that dog bone snaps right in there. It's really neat. I made a cherry bowl, and I got this done, about 10-inch cherry bowl. I got it all done. And a doggone thing a day later broke. A big crack came right down the side. My wife said, you can't throw that out. You got to fix it. You got to do something with it. So anyway, she always wins. I always win, but then I do what I'm told. I set the bandsaw at an angle of the crack, and I cut the crack out about 5/16 of an inch thick. Set a piece in there. I cut this out, set the piece in here, and returned the inside of the bowl, and it came out. I won all kinds of stuff with this. Yeah, it really turned out to be great. Instead of a $50 cherry bowl, I've done really well with this. This is the same thing done in a maple bowl, I think, with a finial out the side that probably cracked or something.
Norwegian maple.
Yeah, this is Norwegian maple with a lacewood finial. She remembers all these woods. But at one of the symposiums, I don't remember what the theme was, but I made a platter with a wood turning and a tool. This is a piece of walnut cut in half down the middle, book matched. So this side matches this side. It's glued together to make the panel in the back. And these are filled in. Want to know the truth? I don't know how I cut that. Anyway, nice job. This is a dogwood turning with a dogwood chip, a stainless tool with a brass barrel, maple handle. Each two of these cherry scallops here are a cherry ring, like a picture frame ring, cut and mitered. So there'd be 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. Yeah, 5 of those. Anyway, they're all cut and mitered. And this was going to be pewter. And I got about 3 of them done, and they look great. And I ran out of pewter. So they're painted silver. You have to go with the punches, but I still got that. It got dropped later and cracked. I had to put it back together. But this is kind of hard to explain. You know, the John Beaver radius jig you used to cut radiuses on the bandsaw. This starts out 2 pieces of purple heart, 3 by 3, 6 inches long. No, 2 pieces of wood, 3 by 3, 6 inches long. One is maple, one is purple heart. You take one of them and you cut a radius out of here. And then you do the other one, cut the same radius out of there. And you glue the maple to the purple heart. And then on the other one, you glue the purple heart to the maple. Then you turn it around the other way and you cut it the opposite way. And you glue each one to the other one. And you end up with this football shape or oval shape in the center of the piece. I left this one square so you could see that. This is a box. But actually, I turned this one over. This top matches this bottom. So these are purple heart maple with yellow heart trim on this. But it's all done on the bandsaw, the cutting. If your name's Duxbury, you turn duck wine bottle stoppers. This is turned on 4 centers. There's 1 center for the whole thing. There's a center for this wing, a center for that wing, and a center for the neck. So you wouldn't want to make your living doing this, but it's kind of fun. Turned to baseball. Somebody won an award, and they wanted an award with a baseball on it. I have to tell you, I had somebody else draw the seams. I still can't draw the seams on a baseball. I don't know what the secret to that is. Thank God I can't do that. Emmett Kane was here, did a workshop in my shop for one of the clubs. And this is real green I think it's red oak, ebonized multiple times. And then actually it's turned and these fins cut in it. And then he puts little blocks of wood here and there and lets it dry and ebonize. And then cuts and he does gold leaf and different colored paints in the top. It's kind of fun. These are all turned out of Trex. These could all be used outdoors. My son made a patio, and he made it out of the trim. No, a lot of the patio was made out of Trex decking, and I thought I'd be smart and make him some finials. So I made him a couple of finials with loose rings. God, they were gorgeous. A tenon on the bottom, so you could just drill a hole, glue it in there. And he didn't like them, so I got them back. These are bottle stoppers made out of different colored corian or different colored Trex. And this is a box made out of Trex with saw cuts in it with different colored Trex inlaid in it. And there's a pen made out of Trex. It's kind of, I still don't like turning any of the acrylics, but anyway. We dumped a lot of wine over at different parties and things. People talk waving their arms around, and the long stem glasses didn't go over good. So I turned I took wine glasses and cut the stem off and made wine glass, shorter ones with bigger bases. And we haven't knocked many of those over lately. I turned toys, tops. I don't do these anymore because the kids can throw these things, and some guy said the kid dented the refrigerator or something. And so I don't do this anymore. I turned the smaller ones. These are small tops. This is one of those illusion toys where you pull the string in and out, and if you pull this string goes in, and that sort of thing. Ball and cup game. I made the advanced model of this. I don't have pictures of that. It has 8 of these balls on it, and it takes a half a day to string all the strings, but it's kind of fun. Back in the 1400s, before escapements were known, Leonardo da Vinci was trying to make a clock. He didn't have a clock. Nobody knew what 10 o'clock was. There was no such thing. So he made this sort of a thing. This is the timing mechanism for a clock. It keeps terrible time, but it's sure fun to watch. This arm swings around. These are weights on the bottom. And the gears were all cut on a scroll saw. I think they're 8-to-1, I think, on this. So it gears up. I don't remember what the gearing is, but anyway, when you pull on this, it swings this arm around. And this is my wife's old necklace with a fishing sinker on the end. As this flies around, it catches this outer ring here, this outer pin, and it wraps around there. And then it unwraps around there, and it catches this one, and it wraps around that one. And it unwraps around that one, and it comes flying around here and does the same thing on this side. And it keeps terrible time, but it's mesmerizing. It's just, you could watch this all day. Have you had enough yet? This is my lathe. I have a Powermatic lathe, or what used to be a Powermatic lathe. I'll start at one end and go to the other end. All the knobs, I don't use steel knobs on any or arms on anything. I like wooden handles. And they're all a little bigger and a little longer, so you don't have to lean on them. Here's my knockout bar, hangs down the back of the motor. Even the handle on here is wood. This is a Model A, and the Model A came with a steel door with a screw in here, was about 1.5 inches long, and you had to unscrew this thing forever to get to see what was inside here and change the belts. I threw that out and made a plexiglass door and a button magnet on the top, and all you do is hinge this down, change the belt, and I'm always changing belts and things, so that's really worth its weight in gold. The bar on the back had that dizzy cage on it. I cut the bars off of that, used that to make the mounting for my dust collector. This is the dust collector. It's a 4-inch PVC. It's got a thumb screw in here in this piece of welded pipe, bolted to the intake here. On the Powermatic, the only on-off switch was over here. When things started going bad, you had to reach around here and shut it off or change the speed or whatever. And I didn't like that, so I put in a remote on-off switch. It's down here. And I have 3 plugs here, phono plugs. This is actually plugged into there so that I can unplug this, or I plug it in and then that becomes active too. So I can turn it on or off from either place. There's another hole under here. I have the same kind of a switch with a magnetic base. These are just handy boxes. Only the other one, instead of being an on-off switch, it's a momentary. You lean against it or push on it. When you push it in, the lathe comes on. When you back it up, let off of it, it goes off. So in drilling, you set this up here and you put one hand on the drill chuck and one hand on the hand wheel, and you lean against this, and the lathe comes on, you crank it, you drill a hole. If something starts going to hell, you just back up and the lathe goes off. So it's a wonderful safety switch or safety feature. I also have under here another one, and that's for a foot switch that's hanging on the wall here somewhere. Anyway, you can put a foot switch on here. Neither one of these can be plugged in full time, because if you bump a foot switch or you bump a momentary switch, that lathe's going to come on. You plug it in when you need it, and you unplug it when you're done with it. You do not leave that in there. Let's see what's next. It's okay. You get tired of cranking this hand wheel, and the thing goes out 4 inches or something. It's 3,000 RPM to turn it out. And anyway, I made a wooden turbine for the end of this. You give it a spin, and right here is my air hose. You hit it on the bottom, and it catches, it takes off, and it runs about 400 RPM in reverse, and the quote just goes right back out. Or if you want it out, you spin it this way and hit it on the top, and it runs 400 RPM out the other way. Saves you a lot of time and trouble. The tailstock itself, the tailstock gets in the way a lot of times. I'm always moving this tailstock. It weighs 80 something pounds, 85 pounds. And I'm tired of lifting 85 pounds on it up and down. I don't need it. So what I did is, there's a round washer underneath the bed that locks this thing on. I cut the sides off of that. So this is 1.5 inches wide, the same width, a little smaller than the width of the slot in the bed. And then I put an arm on this, goes out with a bloodwood handle. And what you do is you unloosen this, pull this handle, and then tighten that. And this brings this up against here. It indexes 90 degrees. So you go from this other way here, this way to 90 degrees. Now that's a release. And then once it's released, you loosen this handle here, pull this knob and tighten that handle. That locks that in 90-degree position. Now that thing is loose on the bed. You put this hook in the top of here and you push the button, and there's a winch on the ceiling and it pulls that straight up. That dizzy hinge they sell you is $300, and all it does is hinge the thing around the back of the lathe. This winch costs $100. I think it's about $80 if you got a coupon. Anyway, and it lifts it straight up. I use that a lot. Oh, I have to show you. I have to show you one more thing. I needed a spring for this. I got this all together. And in the locking position, there has to be a little spring in here. Push on that so that this can't vibrate around and come loose again. I looked everywhere for a spring for this thing. You'll never guess what that spring is. That spring is out of the axle of a toilet paper holder. You know, the toilet paper roll, the thing in the middle.
No kidding.
It's perfect. It's long and it doesn't have much pressure. It worked out perfect. You got to be creative.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
I think I got to make one of them for my lathe.
But now the toilet paper's on the floor. I got to get a new toilet. No, it isn't that bad. I always wanted a 20-inch sanding disc. And damn, those things cost a fortune and I don't have room in my shop. Also, they turn 3,000 RPM or something. You could lose an arm on the thing. I made an MDF disc. I think it's 2 layers. You'll see the other side in a minute. And turned it round and flat. Bought the 20-inch disc of, this is 80 grit sandpaper. And my God, does that sand, I'll tell you. And you can turn it down to 500 RPM. You could do your fingernails on this thing. It's fabulous. You have got to have a dust collector. If you didn't have a dust collector, you couldn't see your hand in front of your face in 3 minutes. It just eats wood. Not only as a dust collector, I had to remake that's the holder for the regular position. I had to make another holder for this thing, but it fits right up underneath there. And then there's a piece that fits underneath here, a little chute kind of to deflect the dust, but that thing really works. And I had to make a table for it, but I really like it. Oh, the other thing is, anytime you make a disc this big, I showed before, just the disc. This is when I first put it on here. Oh man, this works nice. I probably had it going about 800 RPM. I shut the lathe off, and the mass of that thing unscrewed it. And if you've ever seen the Tasmanian Devil, my God, you just get out of the way, man. That thing sanded and ran all over the shop. It would jump as high as the table, and it just ran all over the place. Finally ran out of steam, and I thought that won't happen again. I now tightened a little Allen nut in the back and Allen screws in the back of that thing. But just beware, if you put something heavy on the end of there, my God, when it comes off, I'll tell you that it has momentum you wouldn't believe. That thing ran around for 5 minutes. We do some demos out in the field. This is a historic farm up the street from us, Cedar Rock Park. And this is one of the original old buildings down here. And that's I forget, in fact, that's where the guy lived, I think, while he was building his other house. But we actually turn wood out in the woods and show how trees are cut and bowls were turned back in the pioneer days. People love it. We have a great time doing it. And my wife gets me into this. I don't have a great time. I do it, but we set up in the middle of nowhere. The one year it rained, and my God, we got soaked. But during COVID, a lot of these guys at maker spaces had 3D printers, and they printed up headbands. Oh man, this is fun. They printed up all kinds of headbands. They got together, made thousands of them. When it came to making face shields, they had no idea how to cut out acrylic face shields. So I made a jig to cut these out. And this is my wife touching them up. Oh, here's the bird. See, he's in here. Bean is in everything. Anyway, we made hundreds of these things, hundreds and hundreds. I don't know how many loads of these. They donated them to the hospitals. This is when COVID first started, you know, and face shields just plain weren't around. I also do some flat work. This is the top out of our kitchen. We had a granite top put down, and this is the sink top piece they cut out. And after about 6 or 8 years, I finally figured out I'm going to either do something with that or throw it away. And I had it rounded out, the edges rounded out, and I built a cart for it. And then I thought, rather than have just a cart with shelves, I'd make this into a wastebasket. So when you push this lever on the bottom, that hinges out, and it's a wastebasket. It's designed to be the same size as a paper shopping bag. And this has been really great. Anyway, that's enough. You've seen enough of me. I have a great time doing this. I don't know if I can get back to the plan, the kaleidoscope. Let me try doing this over again.
Jim, that was absolutely awesome.
Thank you. Go ahead with something else. I'll try to get back to this.
Yeah, that was great. You have some fantastic stuff, Jim.
Thank you. We have a good time. Like I say, I do enough wood turning. I'm not putting cameras on my lathes and things.
I'm glad your wife likes to help you or do it. I'm glad she likes to do it.
It's really fun, and I really enjoy it. Let me see if I can find this.
What do you do in your spare time, Jim?
Hey, the hard,
Yeah.
well, the hardest part of this whole thing is you don't realize it, but I'm doing another screen share. When you work in your shop, when you set a screwdriver down, it's in the back of your head, and you could come back 3 months later and pick the screwdriver up. If somebody picks it up and puts it in a drawer, you could spend all damn day finding a screwdriver. Okay?
Yep.
And it's wonderful to be out there. I do the same thing to her, so it's not one-sided. But anyway, I'll do the screen share. Can you see that again?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
On the kaleidoscope, this is on the normal kaleidoscope, the hole is right in the center because it's an equilateral triangle of mirror. On this one, it's a 30, 60, 90 degree triangle. So the mirror goes way over to this side and comes over to this side, and there's a short side on this side. So in order to get this hole inside the mirror, it's got to be towards one side of the circle here.
Explain why.
Does that make sense? Did that answer the question?
For the person that asked the question, does that answer it if you're still on?
You fell
No,
asleep.
he's not on here.
You fell asleep. Okay, sorry about that. Here you can see it here, but
yeah, it makes sense. I mean, I understand what you're talking about. You can't. It's no longer a equilateral triangle, so the center of it is offset.
yeah, on my original kaleidoscopes, on these, that's an equilateral triangle, so the hole's in the middle. And I do that because people that just pick up kaleidoscopes, like these handheld ones over here, oh damn, like this, when they pick this up and want to look through a hole, they don't want a little 1/4-inch hole. They want the biggest hole you can see through. And this is a 5/8 hole on this one. When you start getting into different mirror configurations, the hole not only has to be offset, but it has to be smaller a lot of times to get within the triangle of the mirror. So you end up with a smaller eye hole. It's much less user friendly.
but it gives different patterns.
There's a whole science to mirrors. I could do a whole thing on mirror configurations if you want, but there's a whole science to mirrors. And this guy Brewster in 1816 developed this. And you got to remember, this is before light bulbs and television and all that sort of thing. So look through a tube and see all these gorgeous images was like space age. God, he made a fortune selling these, and then Charles Bush Green brought it to this country, and he made a fortune. After supper, there was nothing to do. You went to the parlor and you played games, or you sat in front of the fire and read or something by candlelight. These got to be so popular, they got nicknamed parlor scopes, because they would go in the parlor and they'd look at the different kaleidoscopes and put different ends on these things with different objects, and they'd trade them with the neighbors and all that sort of thing. So it got to be like the next thing to television. Okay.
Wow.
Anyway,
Jim,
yeah.
what's the price range of those things when you sell them?
These here?
Well, the other ones, the ones on the stand.
Or this kind, I start out, these are about 175 bucks.
Okay. What about the ones on the stand?
These kind go about 280, somewhere in there.
Okay.
And then, these are around 350, 400, depending what they're made on, and the mirrors and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
The big one goes, this one here went about, I don't remember what that was, $3,000, I think, somewhere in there.
Oh my goodness.
And then the big one is about, these go probably another $3,000 or $4,000. And then here again, they can be all customized. You can put your initials in this side or whatever you want. They can be customized to anything. The big one's about 7,800 bucks.
Okay.
There's a lot of work in that, and
yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Thank you for having me. It's wonderful. I love to share, and
yeah, thank you for sharing. That was wonderful.
I suppose it's a commercial, but if you want to make these, I do have plans. I ended up turning a kaleidoscope years ago, and when I first got it, I thought that's kind of neat. I showed it at the club, and then everybody was calling me, and they'd want to know, how long do you make this, and how big do you do that, and what do you do? I was drawing kaleidoscopes on napkins and cardboard boxes and all kinds of stuff. And finally, I sat down and made a set of drawings. And then after a while, it's a long story, but I ended up making a DVD. I really didn't want to be on a DVD, but anyway, I made a DVD on how to make them. And then nobody wanted hand-drawn drawings anymore for kaleidoscopes. So I had to go back to college, learn AutoCAD, draw this thing, and so now I have plans and whatever else if somebody wants to make them. But thanks for having me. It's great. Love the place.
It was very much nice to have you do this. I think we all need to wipe the drool off. We need to wipe the drool off our chins and get right back to the wood turning again. I mean, I'm sitting here mesmerized. It was just a fantastic program, and what you did. I mean, I was always amazed at your work. Now I'm shocked by it. So, but it was very nice. And folks, Jim mentioned earlier that he writes, and I got to go to the right page here. Nope, I got to go to another page here. And I'm looking at the next issue of Woodturning magazine, which is produced out of the United Kingdom. And the next issue's got an article by Jim Duxbury on how to design an OG shape of a segmented bowl. I think y'all saw one of those earlier today.
You got it. You did.
And that's where Jim's going to be in there. And that's next month. Now, if you don't choose to get this from Britain, I get mine right here on my iPad, and it cost me $3.27 a month, and it came through Amazon. And I get the edition, and I get to keep it. Now, what I know now is you can't print from this, but there's a way around that. But I won't tell you that, okay? But that's where.
Well, I wasn't sure I was supposed to say things like that, but I actually, for a beginning turner, it's fabulous because in the AAW, they have pictures of all kinds of fancy artwork and stuff. That Woodturning magazine actually has articles, like 6 or 8 projects with drawings, material list, step-by-step instructions for people that want a project or something. It's just fabulous. And it's from basic to some fairly advanced. I've got articles in the next 4 issues or something. I really enjoy writing for them. In fact, I've listened to the English now so long, I can almost understand English language. They would all be talking and laughing, and I had no idea what was going on. But I can almost, Scotch and Irish, I have no idea. I can't understand any of those guys. But anyway,
2 years in Scotland.
It's a fantastic magazine, I think. And
glad we were able to put that in.
Again, it's called Woodturning. It's available through Amazon Prime or Amazon Books. I have a subscription, and the boss, that's the only magazine I subscribe to, because that magazine goes from soup to nuts. I mean, it not only gives you the projects and all the equipment you need for the projects, but over the time, it will teach you how to use every single tool in your shop the right way. And you'll have it all right there. So if you go onto your shop and you say, man, wonder how that looked. Boom, get it up on your iPad or your telephone. Or you only get it on one service for that price. But you get it up on there and you look at it and you have it in your hands. That's where we want to be. That's exactly where we want to be. Earlier this evening, we talked about bringing more folks in. It's because we want to do what those folks do. We want to be here to share the information, the sources, talk about tools. The guy I talked to today about the chucks, that's another one, And if you come to us, you've got this evening 84 folks. I'm sorry, it was 91 folks tuned in that can give you an opinion, have an idea. If you need a problem, if you have a problem with a lathe, we had 10 inputs on it. 10 inputs on that one problem, the quill. And then Jim pops up here with a little air power drill to move the quill in and out. That really make the other guy feel bad. But these are things, that's why we do show and tell, or tips and tricks. These are things you and I experience, but maybe they don't. And that's why we want to bring them on board. I think this has been a fantastic gathering. I am not the host tonight. Trace is, and I'm going to tell you, we normally end the meeting at 9 p.m. Central Time. But a long time ago, I would just leave the meeting run along, and it would run to midnight, 1 o'clock, or whatever. People would be talking, sharing information and all that. Well, Trace is going to keep the line open. So formally, I'm going to say goodnight, everybody, but you don't need to leave. It's going to keep going on. There's no format. Remember, you got to be civil, you got to be kind, no vulgarity, please. And you can talk about wood turning for as long as you want to keep going on. And remember, all those other folks with you, they want to know what you say, and they want you to know what they say. So stick around until next Wednesday evening, which I love every week. Y'all take care and be safe.
Thanks much.
Jim, thank you very much for doing that tonight. I really appreciate you stepping in on my canceled demonstrator for this evening. I really appreciate it.
It was great. I'm glad I could do it anytime.
Yeah,
I enjoyed
we'll talk later on again.
Sure.
And then Joaquin, I will get with you about the four-sided pen demo for March. I'll give you a call one day next week when I get back home. So But on that note, I am going to log off, y'all, and I'm going to get back to enjoying my wife. So y'all have a good one.
All right.
Everybody have a good week.
Night, Dane.
The open chat is now open, folks. I'm right with Dane. I need to spend a little time with the boss here.
Yeah.
And y'all can
Save the
chat,
chat.
do anything you want. Save the chat. Where's Donald tonight? We normally rely on Donald to say that. But anybody can say it. Save the chat. I just did mine. And it'll be on your computer. Or everything you've seen tonight, everything you've heard tonight, everything on the chat tonight is going to be in our newsletter. I'm sorry, on our, I can get this right, on our website. Dave, I apologize, Dave. Dave's the master webmaster, and here I'm trying to steal his fire. But it's all going to be there on our website. Take care, folks. Be safe.